You work so hard. You show up every day. You do what's expected of you. But deep down, you know the truth. One paycheck shouldn't decide how your life turns out. But what if your evenings meant progress? What if your weekends built freedom? What if your laptop became more than just a screen? This isn't about quitting your job. It's about giving yourself options. While others scroll, you start building. Quietly, consistently, and on your own terms. No pressure, no guessing. Just a clear system you can run after work, before work, or whenever life gives you a turn. That's what Goldmine on hustlesafrica.com is for.
Tuesday.
Haikuzo makasi ni watafute uongozi pamoja wasitafute.
Kweli una maana gani? Una maana wewe ni binadamu ya mavi ya kuku.
Nguruwe kujikanga na mafuta yake na Afrika itakwisha.
We cannot say that as ODM we just want to be there. We want power.
Na mifugo yetu harambe. Na serikali yetu tukufu harambe.
People maybe mistakenly think that it is a ritual. And that is why people resort to the old incompetent excuses. Whenever things are not clear, they are not aligned, you are not sure what our commitment is. They are ready every day with an appointment. You will go through with them. We are one team. And my economic team is not interested in running any.
All right, hello there, people of the internet. My name is Oduor, Jagero, and this is Political Headache. I am in the studio with Vigogo. We have the government apologies coming direct from Kisumu.
No. I don't think we should allow you to do that.
Okay.
May God bless you.
All right, we have Mr. Odhiambo, a political commentator, a consultant, and somebody who does well with communication. Mr. Odhiambo, I want to welcome you to the podcast. A lot of you, the girls, have been, waiting on you and calling upon you. And interestingly, they are all from the United States and Germany, all saying, "Where is Odhiambo? Where is Odhiambo?" So, people of the internet, today we have Odhiambo. Otieno in the house. Odhiambo, how are you doing?
Amazing, I'm back.
Okay, we have Joachim. Joachim tells me that the party leader, Mr. Wanjigi, is finally out of the bunker and will be going to Kenya shortly to give a speech that will remind us of 2002 in the United States of America. Do you remember that speech of Obama? Was it 2002?
2004.
2004.
Yeah.
Yeah? Mm-hmm.
The speech that made Obama president?
Yes. No. The one that catapulted him to the psyche of the Americans.
The DNC speech.
You remember? Yes, so that is this.
Was it the speech about hope?
Yes, speech about hope. Joachim, how are you doing? It is a good Easter. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Yeah.
Visibly so, I'm doing well.
Safira na pesa.
No. Wasn't a saff.
And we have Honorable Oduor Widi, the gentleman that divides the country in the middle.
To me, is, when we were in school, we used to have some classmates.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. In the field, in the classrooms, they were very okay.
Yeah.
But when you meet them in the corridors, they are not okay. They have issues here and there. They say, my dad has the... So are you okay throughout?
Yeah.
Because your dad, Jimmy, is not... alipotea, amerudi.
Yeah.
I have always used this analogy. Instead of using a blunt axe to cut down a tree and spend a lot of time and end up with blisters in the hand, why don't you
Joachim's mic is, we've been told is not on. Are you on? Just continue talking.
Hello.
Is it on?
My good.
We are waiting for Joachim's mic, people of the internet. We are waiting.
I can lend him mine.
No. I don't know whether. Can you try it? But Joachim has been fiddling a lot with it. I don't know.
No. I'm good. That's how I talk. I keep on adjusting my...
He's fiddling. That is how he talks.
Yeah. He's fiddling a lot with the mic. I don't know whether he's back. Please, today is fire. Mic Zico down. I want to make sure that people can hear us. Joachim, can you talk so that I hear you properly?
Can you hear me?
Now it's working.
Now it's working. Somebody's saying it's working.
All right.
Joachim, please don't leave the mic the way it is. Wanjigi has not brought mics that he promised. So don't continue breaking the ones that
He will have to come here with his own mic.
Yes, exactly.
He didn't promise you anything.
He didn't promise me. But how do you know?
Oh, maybe I don't.
All right, people of the internet, it was 2 a.m. April the 2nd, while most Kenyans slept, DCI detectives were knocking on doors. Okay? Not just any doors, the doors of the men who control every drop of fuel that moves through this country. Director General of EPRA, the Managing Director of KPC, the Principal Secretary for Petroleum, all were arrested in the night. By morning, Kenya was asking one question: what exactly did these men do? Here is what we know at the political headache. While Kenyans were being told a fuel shortage was coming, while global oil prices were spiking and the Strait of Hormuz was effectively closed, these officials were allegedly manipulating the very data that determines whether Kenya has enough fuel. The shortage was not real. That is what we have come to find out. Kenya had adequate reserve, but fabricated numbers created fabricated panic. And into that panic sailed the MV Paloma. Oduor is going to be telling us about this MV Paloma, a vessel that is allegedly diverted from Angola, carrying over 60,000 metric tons of fuel. Procured not through the government to government framework Kenya has contracted for, but through an emergency deal at 3.5 times the contracted price, or what we call rate. The total loss to Kenyan taxpayers. Now, the estimate says, Mr. Oduor, that it was Kenya shillings 8 billion that the president finally realized was about to be lost. And the fuel itself, it failed quality test. It was substandard. It should never have been cleared. The only reason it wasn't, one, a named KPC quality assurance manager who refused to sign. Odhiambo Otieno has told me that he knows that gentleman because of security. We are not going to name him on this podcast. Odhiambo is Okamano. That person is the quiet hero of this story, Mr. Odhiambo. But here is the question: what matters the most? And it is the one we will answer today. Why did Ruto act on this scandal when billions, like Joachim was telling me, have been lost on e-citizen, SHA, fake fertilizers, edible oils triggered nothing? This is political headache. I want to hand it over to Odhiambo to give us a little bit the background and the context of this story, and also say hi to the people of the internet that have been looking for you, especially the women from the United States.
What's wrong with Jagero?
Oduor, take us through the context of this.
Okay, so let's go through the context. First of all, thank you very much. Happy to be here once again. And let's ride. So Kenya has been having a problem, a little problem. This is 2000 and actually before 2023. Kenya was operating on an open tendering system for oil marketing companies to bring in fuel, and they would buy it from, or they would bring it to Kenya, and they would receive money from the government. Every month, the government was scheduling about $500 million to pay these oil marketing companies, or these companies that will bring oil from wherever they will bring it, Saudi Arabia, UAE, and all those places. Now, come 2023, of course, Kenya had a problem. With the exit of President Uhuru Kenyatta, we all know that left us staring into the abyss of debt crisis. And the country had to make particular adjustments. we all remember that with the coming of President Ruto, I'm going to look at this purely from an analytical position.
Okay.
Because Oduor is here to hold brief for the government substantively. No. And of course, and Joachim is here to hold brief for Mr. Wanjigi, who has since come from the bunker.
You don't look at me like that.
No, but you're Wanjigi's chef. So you hold brief
Chef?
for him. Yes, he's Wanjigi's chef.
Whatever that means.
So
we need Odhiambo has always really encouraged decorum on this podcast.
Yeah.
And it looks like you're losing decorum today. I don't know.
Yeah, Joachim. I don't know why you are.
A man, this guy is his own man, a man of repute.
But I mean, it's a good thing. Anyway.
Yeah.
That's beside the point. He's only brief for the opposition.
It's a brilliant soul who thinks on his feet.
Yeah. So I'll be looking at it from an analytical perspective. So the answering of the main questions of the government will be done by Mheshimiwa Oduor. Now, that said, in 2023, when the president came to power, his regime was very focused on one thing, which all of us agree on: austerity measures. And one of the things that he was against was subsidized consumption. You'd rather have subsidized production instead of subsidized consumption. And President Uhuru and the whole of his regime, actually the whole of the 10 years, was heavily reliant, especially his second half, was heavily reliant on subsidies. And when the president came in, he had to refigure these things because the country, depending on dollar reserves to pay, because you know when you buy fuel, you buy it on petrodollar. I think I've discussed this with you on the Anglo leasing matter.
Yes.
You must have dollar reserves that then make it easier for you to buy this fuel from abroad, and that's specifically Middle East. So of course our dollar reserves zilikuwa zimeenda chini kabisa, that the country did not have proper dollar reserves that could last us a long period to enable us buy export, to enable us buy imported stuff like fuel, which is very essential. And remember, around that time, we had this issue of people lining up at fuel stations across the country, and you'd find banana country kind of, where you go to this fuel station, you don't find fuel, and they would sell it at particular prices. Then there's a gentleman, very brilliant gentleman, who is very good in policy. His name is Kiptoo. Kiptoo was a rugby player for a long time, but a brilliant lawyer in terms of petroleum policy. And he helped the government, especially President Ruto's regime, to come up with a brilliant G2G arrangement, where the government will then provide sovereign guarantees in terms of oil purchase and standardization of pricing to ensure that the market was stable. Now, under G2G, perhaps the biggest thing that the audience needs to understand is that the government was not particularly buying the fuel. The government was providing a sovereign guarantee, which means in the instance anything goes wrong, the country takes responsibility for it.
But then who buys the fuel?
So that's what I'm coming to.
Okay. So
the government took that position to first of all ensure that we did not deplete our dollar reserve, so that we could have good on consignment. Now, goods on consignment works in this way. You are given goods, like the fuel, and you are told, or you agree, that we have a period of payment. And in the instance of G2G, it is 180 days. Where from the time the fuel has been imported to the time the first payment is made, it is after 180 days, which means there are banks which will give letters of, I think they call letters of service or something, where a supplier of oil from Aramco in Saudi Arabia that deals with the diesel majorly, upon importing or upon exporting the oil from Saudi into Kenya, they would receive letter of assurance or letter of service from the bank, the local banks, that we will collect this money. We'll collect this money from the oil marketing companies. Now, those are the Oryx, those are the, you name them, the Gulf Energy, etc. There are three companies majorly that were appointed by this G2G kind of arrangement. That after 180 days, at the elapse of the 180th day, then we release the money to you in dollars. So we'll collect it in shillings, then release it in dollars. Now, that one was a policy reinforcement to ensure the stability of oil or stability of fuel in Kenya. The government then went into a deal with these specific three companies, and I would name them. One was what I've called Aramco Trading, or Aramco Fuel. Let me just get it very quickly. Now, Aramco, as I've said, is a Saudi company that deals majorly in what? In diesel. Then we had We had 2 from UAE. I'm just going back to my notes so that I don't mislead the audience. Yeah. So we had Saudi Aramco, then we have Abu Dhabi National Oil Company, which supplies super petrol. Then we had Emirates National Oil Company, ENOC, which supplies super petrol and dual purpose kerosene and jet fuel. Kerosene and jet fuel is of course used for the airplanes. A few days ago, I think we did discuss with you here how even Kenya Airways has gone into hedging of fuel, so that they have assurances in terms of prices, so that fluctuation does not affect their profits or their operations. So that said, G2G was brilliant, and still is a very brilliant thing. It assures Kenyans of fuel stability in terms of pricing and in terms of supply. It also assures oil marketing companies in Kenya, because most of them are actually registered in Kenya, that they can trade with surety from the what? From the government, which is what any government needs to do. Now that done, the government determines every 14th of the month the price of fuel, including kerosene, including petrol, super petrol, and including diesel. Now later on, we have something happening which is interesting. America and Israel decide to do what they want to do under the guise of Iran holding weapons of mass destruction, specifically
epic fury.
Yeah, epic fury and rising lion or roaring lion. I don't know which one it is. And they hit this company or this country very hard, this Iran country very, very hard. And Iran then goes for the asymmetric war that I love talking about, where they become a nuisance and an irritant in the equation. Majorly increasing the economic pressure because they can't fight militarily against America. So the only way is to force America to come back to the table because of oil prices, and oil affects the whole world. Now with that, we have some brilliant people in government who then see the opportunity. Of course, they're sharks. Now when they see the opportunity, they dive deep into it. So they cook figures. And here comes in one critical gentleman called Joe Sang, who in around 2020 or thereabout, 2018, was involved in another scandal and was charged, only for him later on to be released by the courts, that there was no appropriate or evidence against him on the question of the deal that they did, which went really south. In my suspicion and analysis, because I can only use empirical data to show us where we are going, you cannot rely on what has happened. I believe strongly that Joe Sang, who is now deposed, was the architect behind all this thing. Then he ropes in the accounting officer of the department or of the ministry, who is the PS Petroleum, Bonalibam Mohammed, who is a distinguished administrator in terms of governance. He has never been in the fuel business before. He's a gentleman who was heading, I think, at the river development something. Then later on, of course, appointed to be a PS and taken to Petroleum. Then he ropes in EPRA, the gentleman who understands the infrastructure, the legal infrastructure of G2G. So if you understand the legal infrastructure of G2G, it also means you understand the loopholes. So governments, majorly when they're doing very well, there are elements within government which are very bad. And in this essence, we have an element in this arrangement, these three people, who then decide to go ballistic and arrange for create a crisis. So what is the crisis? They cook numbers. I don't know if Jagero, you know, that Kenya has fuel reserve somewhere in Nanyuki. There's a very huge tank or a very huge reservoir in Nanyuki, that in the instance that anything happens in Kenya, and that's why we have a base there, a military base there, that in the instance anything silly happens to Kenya, we can survive for some particular days. Like right now, the commercial reserve is about 16 days for petrol, and 19 days for diesel. Okay? But we have that reserve which is undeclared, how long it can take us. The same way we have serial reserves across the country. That in the instance we enter some deep problem, we are able to sustain for some particular period. So
this is sort of like the maize silos.
Yes, the maize silos you see in Nakuru and Eldoret. Okay. So these fellows decide to take advantage. And I've said, in my suspicion, I could be wrong, but empirical data is what I'm relying on. Joe Sang cooks a very beautiful idea and says, let's do this. And when he cooks this beautiful idea, what happens? He ropes in the accounting officer, because the accounting officer is the one to give authorization for procurement, something called emergency procurement. So how do they arrive at emergency procurement? Okay. They arrive here by EPRA cooking data and KPC that the current reserve of fuel that we have is not going to sustain us into the security area. Okay? What happens? Panic buying. So panic buying, they say, oh, there is a ship that is already in the high seas that has fuel. Let's divert it to where?
To Kenya.
To Kenya. And there's a fellow there whose name I have known for a long time, called Jaffa. I will tell you why I've known his name for a long time, in Kisumu politics.
Okay.
He's a very dangerous fellow there. And was very close to the former prime minister. They cook a program and the fuel comes. Now the fuel comes, ikafika wapi? Mombasa. Especially, I think it's, is it called, there's a place where they offload, it's a specific terminal, I don't know, it's Kipevu or something, I'm not certain. So then, there's one gentleman there, who of course I told you his name but will not mention because it's protected, is the quality assurance manager at Kenya Pipeline Corporation or Commission. He says this fuel is substandard. Why? It has an elevated presence of sulfur in it. We can't release this to the market. In fact, this cannot go. So what happens? It becomes a boardroom question because then he refers upward. Now, something as critical as fuel in the government is a security issue. You may be imagining that the person holding that key at quality assurance is a very small person, but they have a direct connection to somebody high above you, you who is 10 times his boss, because it's a security issue. And such a person will most probably be either an informant of the NIS or will probably be working for NIS. Because that is a level where you don't accept
very good.
ordinary people to misbehave.
That is very good. Wabuke, very good. Nasikia hiyo. Very good.
It's a very critical position. So this guy says no. And of course, many people will be afraid if they're told, wait, pitisha hiyo kitu. This guy says no, I'm not going to pass this thing. So it becomes a boardroom war within KPC.
Okay.
It becomes another boardroom war within the Ministry of Energy. And then the regime picks. What happens? Of course, orders are given. A soup happens. And in this soup, money is found in houses. 100 million shillings here, some money there. And the president, in his culture, what does he do? Through the chief of staff. He doesn't waste time. Within hours of this thing coming to public limelight, these guys are fired. Or rather, they hand over their resignation. I've always told you in politics, when you see the president saying, I have accepted the resignation of, it means you're simply fired. So he fires these guys, and the corruption question is on. So that's where we are at right now.
Okay, that is very, very interesting. I want to bring in Wabuke because there was a direct attack on you, Mr. Wabuke, online by Mr. Odhiambo. I don't know if you read it. Odhiambo, no. I want to read it first so that people of the internet can hear why you were being accused online by Odhiambo, who was very excited yesterday. For far too long, the corridors of power in Kenya were seen as a sanctuary for the untouchable. Are you listening, Mr. Wabuke? Yeah. The era has officially come to a grinding halt. The lightning speed with which the president has fired the PS for energy and his two conspirators of their duties isn't just an administrative move. It's a declaration of war against the business as usual cartel mentality. These individuals willfully choose to dance around procurement regulations, engage in activities that directly undermine their offices, and more importantly, the Kenyan people. By showing them the door with such clinical precision, the president has sent a tremor through the civil service. Perform, Odhiambo says, comply, he adds, or pack your bags. Okay? But now he calls your name out. Critics like Joachim and his gun-wielding master often mistake the president's patience for weakness. But the record tells us
the one with the guns.
The one with multiple guns. The gun with 16 licensed guns.
What? Something is wrong?
All right.
Okay, unasikia? This regime does not coddle incompetence or corruption, especially corruption. The malaria net president, we remember Dr. Joseph Mburu. She wasn't afforded the luxury of due process while sitting in office. She was fired within hours of the global fund procurement irregularity being unearthed. The message then was the same as it is now. The president will not allow the health of Kenyans to be traded for personal gain. I want to ask you, Mr. Joachim, before I go to Mr. Honorable Odoyo-Wede, what do you think about this? And then we are going to actually go, before we go to Odoyo-Wede, we're going to be playing a video from Mr. Wamunyoro, and then we'll also play one from Mr. Ndini Nyoro. But I want to give you an opportunity to respond to Odhiambo, especially on Facebook, because he was extremely excited yesterday, and I think as the government apologist that he is, he's finally found fodder to sell online.
Correct.
That statement you've read there,
first of all, disqualifies Odhiambo as an impartial moderator.
Okay. He's not moderating.
Yes, he that's what he said.
I said I'm an analyst.
He said it's Oduor.
No, don't put words in Odhiambo's mouth.
No. I heard him, and I am just paraphrasing.
He said that he's doing an analysis.
But the analysis is not really analysis. He's doing what the duty he apportioned Oduor.
Yeah.
What is my duty?
He said that you are the one who is going to hold cloth for the government.
No. They should have looked for somebody from the ministry where the scandal was to hold for the government. my sitting here is purely political. Kama hata vile nimesikia ukiongea juu ya Rigiji na Ndindi Nyoro, hapo nimesikia mwili yangu ikaanza kurudia. Hapo ninataka kumenyana na wao.
Okay, I hope people of the internet can hear him. Can we hear him properly? Okay, go ahead, Mr. Joachim.
That statement written by Odhiambo. As a communication specialist, the words are chosen very carefully. The words are rhythmic and poetic at some point.
Rhythmic and poetic.
Yes.
I went to school.
So,
and his father is a teacher.
Yeah.
But now, the sense I get out of it is someone who is now had a rare chance to defend the indefensible. So now we are being told that this government does not coddle corruption or court incompetence, as if we live on Mars and we've just landed here on this earth.
Yeah.
So my thinking is that the writing is grossly inaccurate, aimed at both malinformation and misinformation, because we've been in this country long enough to know what's the capability of the people who are in power. And some of these people think that when we talk about incompetence, we are talking about the incapacity of the people in offices to deliver on their mandate. No, that's not the case. The incompetence we talk about is the deliberate decision by the people in the offices not to work according to their expectations. And this is a case out of it's an anomalous case, if I have to say it. Because in this country, anything dramatic that gains the eyes of the media, coordinated language from apologists and expert analysts, it begs a question. Is it real? Because this is the same person who the other day I heard say that the Director General saying that 50 billion is lost is madness. This is the same person, and again, the money that have been found in the people in question, have they been directly linked to the deal in question? Because if you arrest Joachim today for an alleged loss of 100,000, then you go to my house and you find 50. You have to tie the 50,000 in my house to the loss of the money that I'm being incarcerated for. So in this case, I fail to really ascertain that the actions taken by the government, the dramatic arrests of the people, is actually aimed at putting closure to this fight against corruption. Because I believe that people do not fight what has made them. People fight what has not made them. Thank you very much.
I want to, Joachim also responds to you. Joachim responds to you and tells you that the arrest is meant to make people like you, Mr. Odhiambo, who of late have been thinking that maybe you are supporting a wrong side of government, to finally boost your confidence. It is a perfect PR gimmick. What do you say to the gentleman? Because we are going to Ndini Nyoro and Wamunyoro's videos shortly.
It is very intellectually dishonest for somebody who didn't go to a public relations class to talk about public relations. Because, unfortunately, public relations is meant to establish an understanding between a people or an entity and its publics. But, unfortunately, people like Joachim, who don't understand PR, make it have the worst reputation. And maybe what I would say to Joachim, nobody's really born confident. We gain confidence from whatever the environment we grow up in. And in the environment as current, there have been issues about Ruto being branded as a corrupt man. Of course, there are questions which are public perception. If we look at the papers in court and convictions that have been secured, if there are 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 cases where he's been convicted of corruption issues, then it is right to brand him as such. But for me, I'm very specific in the terms of governance, because even if previously he was perceived corrupt, but he's doing some action that is proving he's not corrupt, or fighting corruption, because yes, you can be a murderer, but then you become somebody who saves people, just like Saul. When God met him, or when he met God, he was on his way to persecute people, but then he was turned to be a preacher, and one of the best preachers, or people fishers, or fishers of men. So Joachim is right to think of me the way he does, because he understands me in a very limited way. But he's about to understand me today with the level of detail we want to share with him. It's a school today.
He's in school.
He's in school.
Okay, let's go. I want.
Before you go to
Yes, before I go to Amunyoro's video.
I think my brother has used a very asapic word.
Yes. What does asapic mean? For us who did not go to school.
Not to go enough.
Not so pleasant. Because we are not. We encourage people not just to talk about things that they understand, or talking about things that they went to class to study. My brother here, I heard him talk about anthropology one of these days.
Yeah.
He did go to class to study anthropology. And PR does not just affect people who studied PR. It affects everyone. Therefore, it gives everybody a chance to say something about it.
In my own thinking, I feel my brother Odhiambo is the one exhibiting enormous levels of dishonesty by saying that the president is like Saul, who met Jesus and became Paul. There is no mention of the Damascus moment in this story. And therefore, there is no Saul turning into Paul without a Damascus moment.
This is not a Damascus moment?
It is not, because for you to have a Damascus moment, then there should be a show of remorse for your past deeds. Yeah. And therefore, for you to be remorse for your past deeds. Yeah. Because he's talking about people branding the president as being corrupt and dishonest. People are not fools. They brand people based on how they see them conduct themselves in public. So if you have appeared in court for more than 10 times being accused of theft, then lisemwalo lipo na kama halipo.
Michael Joachim, he has touched it again. They are saying that it's not. Isharudi.
Hey, I have not touched the microphone. I have not touched it.
Somebody saw you touch it.
They are looking for a scapegoat. Ignore them.
Go ahead. Let us not get into your argument, please. We are sorry.
It's not an argument.
Yeah.
We are just trying to understand each other's point of view. Yeah. That what you are saying does not necessarily mean that other people does not have to say the contrary to it. So in this case, and in a country where democracy blossoms like ours, we are free to talk about things we didn't go to school to study. And I still hold my ground, saying that I do not believe that the arrests amount to the fight against corruption. Yeah. Because let me say it again, people do not fight what has made them.
Okay. I want us to go to, because Odhiambo, before we go to Joachim's video, you want to say something?
Jagero.
Okay. Go ahead and
you know this team that Wamunyoro has assembled, of which this guy is a member, Simiyu. Yeah. There is nothing the government does that they will ever agree on, and that is now practical. Okay. To an extent that they have been blaming the government for not fighting corruption. When the government goes and arrests, they still say the arrest does not amount to anything. You know, you lie too much until you yourself begin to believe your lies. You know, when you come here and tell us that what the arrests that have been made is just meant to appease certain people. Did a crime occur? It did. Are there people who committed it? There are.
Yeah.
Who did the arrest? The DCI, whose job is that. All these people were just being coordinated to appease certain people. If it is appeasing, so be it. We are meant to appease you because you have been complaining about corruption. This is the country where the media reads what we normally call an audit query, and they start using adjectives like scam, scandal, theft, robbery, loot. An audit query is a very basic thing in accounting. If you get figures without documents, it becomes an audit query.
Okay.
If you get more figures than was budgeted for, that alone is a budget query. Then you come and say, we had a variation. It is answered and it is gone. If the documents were not there, you finally present the documents and it is gone. That is how audit queries are sorted out. They are not sorted out by borrowing them to print screaming headlines to increase sales or to bring somebody politically down. We can't do that. So I think you people must go back and agree whether you want to be an objective opposition or you want to just be smear campaigners. Because we are soon not going to believe you anymore. Because you have been making noise over our heads that we must fight corruption, we must fight corruption. And when we are doing it, you still complain. Please, we are not going to accept.
Okay. I want to go to Wamunyoro's video, but I want to read something before we go to Wamunyoro's video. But I also want to welcome the people of the internet. Odhiambo, you know we always welcome the people of the internet.
Yes.
A lot of people are saying hi to Oduor, welcoming him to political headache. I think they have never seen him here. Mr. Oduor, karibu sana. Jagero, time buana. Kevin Awaga is saying, hello people of the internet watching from Doha, Qatar. My salams to Joaquim, Jagero, Owidi, and Double O. Okay, Fingelo Ngoya is...
People are talking. I thought war is around.
Fidel Ongoya is saying, I'm in Nyakach, and people here are watching political headache. Thank you very much, Mr. Ongoya. Naseki saying, hello gentlemen at Jagero studio. Niko ndani ya nyumba waiting for Oduor to struggle offending Ruto. Mr. Aizo is saying, people of the internet, we have arrived. Hassan is saying, watching from Kerugoya. Rategu is saying, good evening, people of the internet. Good evening, Jagero. Nani amekunywa mauta, low quality, watching from Nakuru, Kenya. Okay, Joshua Kago is saying, Yani Kenyan is scandals after scandal. It's painful to see our beloved country in the wrong hands. Kadosh is saying, good evening, people of the internet. Haida is saying, as a nation, we are happy that Odhiambo is back. Mashallah. Daniel is saying, Jagero ni kundani. Soita is saying, hi, people of the internet and Jagero, glad to welcome back the son of Nyakach. Utino Odhiambo. He's not the son of Nyakach. Never been and will never be.
Disowned from Nyakach.
This is
a neighbor of Nyakach, Bwana. This guy is a walking distance from Nyakach.
This is the great son of Rachwonyo.
Yes.
We will support Sefuna and Brigade financially to go to the top seat. Come on, Jagero, let her till. Awaweki. Hata nikiweka, mina angalia after the event, after the studio, hakuna hata shilingi.
Weka till ni neno tu.
Ni neno tu. Ai, surely. I'm watching live from Mwingi Kitui. Okay, I am watching live from the Sun City. The Sun City is which one?
South Africa.
That is South Africa.
Kitui iko internet.
No, that's another person. That was George. I'm watching from Mwingi Kitui. Ball is saying I'm watching from the Sun City. The city in the sun. Nairobi actually the city in the sun.
Yeah.
The other one is in South Africa. Yeah. Okay. Really Candy saying, hello people of the internet. Work on Joachim's mic. Obunga.
No. That was at the moment when that.
Yes. That is fine. Owidi leo asijaribu kutotea that thieving government. That is Lois Baraza. Okay, Lois Baraza. All right. So those are people of the internet. We have got so many people coming in. I want to read something from the internet saying, e-Citizen platform, we lost 44.8 billion unaccounted for. 9 billion lost, 2.5 billion illegally collected. Ruto's response, silence. Zero firings, zero prosecutions. SHA and Shift, we lost 11 billion, lost 105 billion questioned. And then there is Ghost Hospital, token arrest, vague promises, no senior accountability. Then we had the edible oils import, Kenya shilling 6.6 billion lost, 2.5 billion in overpayment. CS transferred to another ministry, no prosecutions. KEMSA mosquito net, 3.7 billion, tender rigged, substantial nets, board chair sacked, driven by global fund pressure, not political will, no criminal prosecution. NY's embezzlement of 2025, 2 billion stolen, 6.5 billion in fake payments blocked, mid-level arrest, no convictions. Fake fertilizer 2024, fake fertilizer distributed to farmers nationwide. CS impeached, impeachment vote killed by coalition MPs, no senior prosecution. MP's bribery of 2025, 48-hour task force theater, court suspended it, nobody arrested. Adani airport deal, 2.7 billion in opaque contracts, denied, cancelled only after US federal indictment. No Kenyan official investigated. Cash crop allies, Gachagua, 7.3 billion, Oparanya, Rotich, 63 billion. DPP withdrew charges after Ruto took office. Rotich appointed senior presidential advisor 56 days after the acquittal. Let us go to the video for Mr. Ndini Nyoro or Gachagua, whichever one, and then I'll go back to Owedi, because Owedi is the one that is now taking the mic.
It has very little to do with the welfare of Kenyans. It has everything to do with watu wadogo wamekula chakula ya mzee. And Kenyans need to know this clearly so that we remove the veil out of whatever it is happening in our fuel sector. Company that deals with G2G and handles 75% of the volumes is the same company that is dealing with exploiting our Turkana oil resources. We need to remove the veil from the people who purport to be the owners. The owners are the same people who you see on TVs every day.
Okay, so we want to hear Gachagua too. Please let us hear Gachagua.
Be taken to court on trumped up charges that they brought substandard fuel. But the truth of the matter is that they are in competition with William Ruto and they have denied him profit. The DCI has now become rogue. And we are of the view that since his contract has ended, they should not be extended. The MD Kenya Pipeline, let the MD EPRA, and let the PS go home. The only crime they have committed is to deny William Ruto more profit for the benefit of the people of Kenya. We also want to be fair to those officers. Those are patriotic Kenyans who wanted fuel to come at a reasonable price because G2G is fixed.
Mr. Oduor, Ndini Nyoro is saying that this is a deal gone wrong and the president should not be cheating us and telling us that he's finally decided to have a Damascus moment.
Of course, you didn't expect Ndini Nyoro to say anything different. Ndini Nyoro is the runners-up in the trophy of lying in this country. Number one is Rigathi Gachagua. The runners-up is Ndini Nyoro. Ndini Nyoro never says anything that is true. Ndini Nyoro is a master propagandist. You remember during the campaigns towards the 2022 general elections, there was a meeting by Azimio in Kasarani. Ndini Nyoro the next day went to a press conference to tell the world that those people who are in Kasarani were ferried from Kisumu. And along the roadside, he saw no, it was in Nyeri. Along the roadside, he saw Kondele Girls High School, Nyamasaria Mix Secondary School, Otongolo Primary School buses that had ferried people from Kisumu. And you know, such schools do not exist. But Ndini Nyoro told the world that he saw those buses.
Nyamasaria.
Which girls? Kondele Girls?
He said Kondele Girls Mix Secondary School, Sijui Obunga Primary School, all those nonsense. Everything he had happens in Kisumu. He named a school after it and said he saw those buses. And people believe him because he's an orator. People will always believe something that sounds well. Just the same way when you are a nice singer, Even if you sing rubbish, people will hum your song as they do go around their work, even if the song is insulting them. So this is what we get here from Ndindi Nyoro na Wamunyoro. Wamunyoro is even worse. This guy, I don't know how you to help him. This is the guy who's been going around saying Kalenjins are thieves. He's calling them by name. And it's the guy who's been saying President William Ruto is not fighting corruption. Now, when President William Ruto is actually having his government arrest those who have been implicated in corruption, Wamunyoro is now saying they need to be released, they are innocent. What then does he want the president to do? When they are arrested, he's complaining. When they are not arrested, he's complaining. He even comes up with imaginary corruption cases. I even had something you are reading there of somebody who was saying that e-citizen, there was a theft of 44 billion, and then 11 billion. Let me tell you, Kenya has 57 million thieves.
So how?
Wait a minute.
I thought we were 60 million Kenyans.
Every Kenyan is practically a thief, except very few like me. And then now, when Kenyans who own hostels bring fictitious claims to SHA, and the minister reveals, they go and say, oh, SHA is ridden with the scandals and thieves and thievery. It is not that everything that is stolen from government is stolen by the government itself. If your home, which you guard with all your health and wealth and strength, can be stolen from, what about the government? Even this so-called 44 billion withdrawn from SHA, we need to find out who did it and where it went. Instead of just coming up to blame the government, you have many times woken up and found one thing or another of yours is missing because you live around Kenyans who are largely very serious thieves. So we can't be blaming the government for everything. Even when on the street we see a policeman without instruction shooting somebody, we go to blame the government. The government did not send him to the streets to go and shoot anybody. In fact, that very government will arrest him. When he's arrested, also you don't want. But Kenyans are the same people who will celebrate when a phone snatcher is shot dead. But when people who literally prepare that we are going to break into shops during Maandamano do that and steal a whole shop down, is arrested, let alone they complain that protesters are being arrested. In fact, they now don't call it arrest, they call it abductions. So we have to be objective in being opposition in this country. We can only blame the government what the government has committed. And if the government has done it right, for you to gain the confidence of the people, just say the government has started doing its job well. If you don't want to say the government is doing it well. This idea of arrest was the best thing that has happened. And fortunately, two of the people were from the president's own backyard, and he still had the guts to arrest them and take them to the police, and finally will end up in court. And this opposition is still coming to tell us that those people are scapegoats. The president doesn't run Kenya Pipeline. He doesn't run the Ministry of Energy. He doesn't run the State Department of Petroleum. There are people there who are accounting officers, whose signatures appear on documents, who make the decisions. And if their decisions are such that Kenyans will lose, they must be arrested. And that is what the president has done. And I must say, kudos, Your Excellency.
Odhiambo, I want to come back to you and ask you a question. We have seen everything that has happened with this government. You've seen the things that I've read, where the president has actually gone very silent and is not talking about it. Joachim has asked you whether the president is having a Damascus moment, and I'm not sure whether your answer is correct. And I am also interested to know, how do you think that, is this a case of the president saying, okay, 2027 is around the sharp bend, and everybody has been singing, or the position, the likes of Obuke Joachim have been talking about corruption. Do you think that this is political signaling? What is exactly going on?
Now, from an analysis perspective, and especially with the background of political communication, I'll tell you this. It's a necessary move, even if it is political signaling, for this reason, that wherever the president is at, and the regime is at today, it is battling a very amorphous opposition. it's better you battle somebody you know than an amorphous opposition. Because this amorphous opposition is going to make the president in 2027 battle towards 50 plus 1%.
Okay.
Which is a danger. That if there's no defined rival, it's a very big catastrophe for an incumbent. And for that reason, he needs to act in the interest of the people. And I'm happy I have shared here before, because I cannot access the president like Oduor does. I've shared here before that the president has to shift towards the side of the people. Because this thing, politics is about perception. People who voted President Ruto in 2022 knew so well his character, or imagined so well his character. And they still put him in power as he was at that time.
Okay.
Now, if the people are saying in 2024, which was his Damascus moment for me, they're telling him, brother, if you don't act, we are going to come for you and oust you from that office, because they had impeached parliament, and the next front, they're going to impeach the president. And if that was a Damascus moment, Joachim is saying that he doesn't think the president has seen his Damascus moment. For me, I'm saying, I have seen the president see his Damascus moment, because he turned around and made a U-turn on parliamentarians sitting right behind him in State House. They look like fools, clapping when the president said, we are not going to take this finance bill. In fact, I'm agreeing with the people. Now, if the president has decided, hey, let's move.
Okay.
And do whatever needs to be done. I think that is something to actually be appreciated.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's something that Honorable Michael Onyango has said that I really like, and I'm right now I'm prosecuting you on your own post on Facebook.
Bring it on.
You know, and he says something very interesting. The era of untouchability is ending, but let's keep our eyes wide open. That is Honorable Michael Onyango is saying. But if I skip a few paragraphs where he talks about, he says, President Ruto's swift action on the energy PS and his co-conspirators is commendable, Mr. Joachim. Procurement corruption is not a technicality, it's the theft from the people.
Correct.
The speed of the response matters. Okay, Joachim, but here is what I want you to listen to. But here is the perspective we must hold. Firing individuals is the flaw, not the ceiling.
Correct.
The real test is whether systems change, not just faces. Kenyans have seen many tremors through the civil service. The question history always asks is, did the ground actually shift, or did it just shake? Meritocracy cannot be declared. It must be institutionalized. Independent institutions, protected whistleblowers, transparent procurement, a judiciary that operates without fear. I want to go back to Joachim. In my understanding of everything that the president is doing, I am not impressed when people resign. I am not impressed when they're arrested, and the NIS and the criminal investigation running around in those cars of theirs. I think the real test, the real ceiling, comes when actually these people are arraigned in court, these people are sent to prison. All right, that is what I think matters. I want to go back to Joachim. Joachim, what do you think should happen from here, now that they have been arrested? Whether it's political signaling, what do you want to see?
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Before I go to your area of concern, I would like to rein in on Oduor that I am not one of the members who have been marshaled by Wamunyoro. I have never met Wamunyoro. I don't share the same ideology with him. I prosecute matters of concern. I don't just come up with a lot of things. And I have disagreed with Wamunyoro on some matters publicly. And so I should not be put in a team that I do not belong to. And that's not to say that there is anything wrong with Wamunyoro. And another thing is to say that what we expect to happen is not just political tremors. And when I look at the people who have been arrested, these are people who can be disposed of easily by any system. They do not, the disposing of the people who have been arrested cannot be accompanied by any noise because they have no political backing. Some of them, I came to know about them when they were arrested. So there is no one who is actually going to make any fuss about it. Unlike the people with the political backing who rarely gets questioned. Like in this sector of energy, even the CS has been spared where he needs to answer a few questions. But I think because he has a political background and the political perception that Odhiambo has talked about, he has to be spared so that the president does not look like he's against the Luos. So this is something that is quite understandable.
Yeah.
And the issue is
what is making you worked up, Mr. Odhiambo?
You know, Joachim must remain objective.
Okay.
in his analysis. You know, Jagero.
Okay.
One reason that's why I always like sitting with Joachim.
Okay.
Because he understands matters.
Okay.
And I would not like him to veer off too much.
How is he veering off?
He's veering off by taking this to tribe.
Yes. What is he saying about tribe?
He's talking about someone like Wandai being spared.
Okay.
I have said, even I think before we started the
because
show,
because he's Luo.
Jagero.
Wandai is being spared because he's Luo.
Jagero
I think just a minute.
Has no
just a minute. Wandai,
the meter to measure objective.
Wandai is not a commoner when it comes to energy issues. I may reveal here today that Wandai was actually an employee at Spectra International, which is an energy firm. He worked there for the longest. So he's not just a stranger to energy.
Yeah.
So let's respect his merits. As much as I don't even like him saying.
He has said that he does not understand energy.
That's what he's saying, that Wandai was appointed purely because he's a Luo.
No.
And that's not true.
You
Maybe
see,
Wandai is not even a Luo. Wandai could be a lawyer like him. And Oduor can tell us better.
Yeah.
Jagero.
Yeah, but why are you going tribal, sir?
I have no problem when someone chooses to misunderstand my statements.
Okay.
It is their decision to choose not to understand. Odhiambo have talked about perception.
Okay.
Right? Perception doesn't have to be real, but what are the people seeing? I have just prosecuted that maybe firing Wandai will create a perception of the president being against the Luos.
Yes.
I don't care whether Wandai is a Luo or not, but the perception is that he is Luo.
I actually agree with you on that.
And Odhiambo wants me. And Odhiambo wants me to remain objective.
Yeah.
When in his attempt to tell me to remain objective,
I think Ruto cannot touch a Luo right now.
Why?
That's not true.
That's not true. He has touched an area.
Do not interfere with my train of thought.
My apologies.
So
okay, go ahead, Joachim.
But Joachim needs to understand that he's the one who is not being so objective in this case. And I started by saying that we do not have a shortage of people with the mental capability to deliver. So it could be true that when I was employed at Spectra, he could be very competent. But because of human nature of greed or an attempt to make a killing for your own pocket could interfere with your ability to deliver. So what I really want, going back to your question, is not just the firings and the resignations of the people in question. Can we have people really pay for the crimes they did? Because the person who was involved in the 6.5 edible oil scandal was later on reappointed by the president to another docket. And you remember the reason why I have a problem with the president, and the reason why I really do not think he has had a Damascus moment. This is the president who appointed an agriculture minister when he was elected as president, and the minister for agriculture had to drop the charges of rape so that he can be appointed. This MD, Joe Sang, had been charged in court in 2018. His charges were dropped. He was made MD for KPC. So if we have a president who is appointing the people in office with questionable characters, and later on behaves that he didn't know about the questionability of their characters, he behaves like a person who expects a pastor to walk around with a hammer and nails. No. What I want to see is actual shift of systems. Because the people we have replaced Joe Sang with the exact system being in place, the same that has happened today is bound to happen. And also let me talk about the big man syndrome. Talked about by the Honorable Dedi Nyoro from Kiharu. I must of all, first of all, agree that there are matters that I have differed with Nyoro. But when it comes to questions around the real reason why the arrests have been happening, I have always been skeptical. Because Didi Nyoro has mentioned something that we need to ascertain. The companies that are involved in the G2G Framework, are they the same ones exploiting our mineral in Turkana? If they are the same, do we have a case of conflict of interest? We should not be dismissive, as Oduor wants us to be. We should always be people who want to know what the truth is. And Oduor also said that we will end up not being believed by the people because we are always opposing government.
No, lying. No,
we have never been believed by this government. And in this case, we are not saying that William Ruto should fight corruption. That's wrong. That's not what we are saying. We are saying that he had time to show us he can fight corruption. Now time is up. What he does is none of our business. He must go. Yes. Time to fight corruption is over.
I think, Mr. Jagero, it is not worth it arguing with somebody like Simeyu. You cannot say Otieno must go and you have not placed somebody better than me at the door to take over.
There is Wamunyoro, there is Wanjigi.
I think gambling is not a good strategy for anything. Yes. We can't gamble with something as important and as serious as the leadership of this country. I don't think somebody like Wamunyoro is fit to be even a DO. In fact, he was fired as one. So let's not smear somebody so that when you want to kill,
how about Matiang'i Kalonzo?
When you want to kill a dog, you give it a bad name, so that any child in the village who sees it calls it that bad name and give it an excuse to kill it.
Is trivializing very pertinent issue.
No. That thing is, to me, it's very trivial. It's not. I'm not
and I do not blame you for saying it like that.
So let me.
I say that people do not fight what has made them. And Oduor is proving it right.
What has made who?
Oduor is proving it right that you will always fight what has made you, however bad it looks, because you don't care how it looks. You care about what you are getting out of it. And this system, the way it is, has made some people president.
My friend.
This system, the way it is, as corrupt as it is, has made some people to move from just being CU choirs to occupy the biggest offices in the land.
I think
what tells you that these people will fight this system?
I think, Jagero, we are veering off the discussion.
We are veering off the discussion.
Because this is a political discussion. There is no boundary.
Joachim is saying that he is done with talking about Ruto and corruption. He's done with him. What he wants Ruto to do is to pack his bags and go home.
And that is
Which
where...
is my democratic right.
Do you know that Uhuru Kenyatta welcomed into his new government in 2013 with the laptop scandal, and nobody spoke? This guy was an adult then.
Let me ask Oduor, who defended the scandal of laptops, who appeared on several media to defend the government.
Who was it?
The scandals of the laptop.
Who was it?
It is the current president.
Yes.
Because he defended a scandal.
Nobody will fail to defend his boss. You have defended Wanjigi here.
Yes.
Somebody is
I have talked about the fifth agenda. I have never defended Wanjigi. I have talked about the agenda he brings on the table. And this current president,
there is a difference between Wanjigi and his agenda.
No, I am talking about the agenda of the people, which has been originated by my party leader.
Anyway, let me tell you the truth that even the viewers, some of them may not want to hear.
Okay.
The war against the government of President William Ruto is a tribal war.
Okay.
It is a legacy war. It is a fear of generation of wealth war.
Okay.
Because there is nothing that Ruto is doing that the former president did not do. All these people were adults and they kept quiet. Uhuru Kenyatta cutted away 250 billion euro bond to the last cent. And when the then Auditor General came out to speak about it, he was alisomewa in public. Today we have an Auditor General who would say anything and the president would not even bother. So
let finish.
Nyamaza wewe, wakati yako itakuja. So Today, all of them have ganged up. And when you hear them talk, they talk about us, we people of Mount Kenya. They even had a meeting in Limuru to say that if none of them takes power, nobody other than them will take power next time. Huh?
Were you in Limuru?
My friend. Do you need to go to Limuru, but it's all over, it's on YouTube. I thought most of their things you
Jagero.
Yes.
So I think I have to thank Oduor.
Yes.
For saying things I was waiting him to say.
Okay. Which are what?
Which are the things he has just said. That Uhuru took away 250 billion euro bond. Mm-hmm. I have spoken on this table in uncountable numbers of the TV interview between the deputy president of that time and Hussein Mohammed, who is in charge of communications at State House today.
I've heard it also.
Where the president said he can look direct into the camera and say that there is no money that was lost of the Eurobond. That is total nonsense. That
Raila did not understand.
Yes.
You can leave it there, I helped you.
Okay.
Yes. Even Mamunyoro,
yes,
before he was fired by the National Assembly, yes, he defended everything this government. In fact, he's the one who went to public and asked. He wonders how a sane man can oppose the affordable
subject here.
No,
we are talking about fighting corruption.
Apples to apples. Mamunyoro was also a DP. When you are a DP, you must defend the president all the time.
And let me remind Oduor that there is nothing, he has said it, that there is nothing President Ruto is doing that the former president didn't do. I remember how President Ruto used to campaign.
Yes.
And he was in Kisii, I remember, when he said, never again shall the system serve the rich and oppress the poor. It is happening
and it has
today.
Never happened. The system has never served the rich and oppressed the poor.
The president,
all this propaganda.
The mountain. So the president was lying.
Lying what?
Was the president using mountain propaganda when he was campaigning?
No. The president now has kept to his word to the letter. Tell me where he has broken his word.
Oh my goodness.
Don't say my goodness, just tell me.
No.
I think let's come back to the discussion.
Tell me.
The president has made 719 promises. He has kept 19 alone. That's less than 3%.
Please, don't be cheap by swallowing every propaganda you see on social media. So, there was a time, we have a long list of challenges in government. The day we published the Kikuyu in government, 519, they went quiet today, that list has never appeared.
I will always mention Kikuyus.
Okay.
Whatever they did to you, I'm sorry.
It is the truth.
I'm sorry.
Uhuru is what? Wamunyoro is what? Ndindi Nyoro is what?
Now, let me ask.
Do you know all the Kikuyus who are in Azimio? When you are going to the road for Sufuria, immediately Raila moved out of the street. They crossed over Karua, Kamanda, Kioni, Kanini Kega, or they crossed off to the side of their community.
Were you supporting Raila at that time?
No, I wasn't supporting him.
Why are you offended when they left?
I'm not offended. I'm just telling you the truth because you need to be told the truth until it
not
gets
serving the purpose.
It is serving.
Because in saying the truth, the truth itself does not matter. The intention of saying it is what matters.
Yes.
And although I want to tell you that you cannot promise water and deliver oil.
Tell me what Ruto promised and he has not delivered.
Do we have Pampers for children under the age of 3 months provided for by this government?
No.
Do we have 10,000 tractors
and I'm
bought by this government?
You must believe me that when somebody is campaigning, there are covenants, there are promises, there are proposals.
So everything about Ruto was
But when somebody
covenant.
gets into government and is putting for you the budget he intended to use to provide those things and you shoot it down, what do you want him to use to provide those things?
So we have been shooting down all budgets.
You shot it down and he cannot
all
go back.
Budgets.
He cannot go back to the very budget you shot down.
No.
Yes.
But you the two of you are hogging this conversation, and Odhiambo is also here, fresh from Makere.
Should be clapping one.
Odhiambo, can you? Because a lot of people are saying, Jagero, tell Oduor that I only like it when anakanyaga wanga. Wawachana na Joaki.
That means he's partisan.
All right, so
somebody is saying Jagero raining.
So let's come back to the discussion.
come into, and save us from this.
Cool the waters.
Let's come back to the discussion. I'm happy with the little talk between the two because Oduor is holding a position.
Yes.
Joachim is also holding a position. And human beings can kill you for their point of conviction if you try to veer them off that very position. That said, let's come back to the point. And the point here was about this fuel scandal, which has hit the country. Now, let's go to the character, because there are things that Joachim, being a very brilliant man, would never want to go against. One of them being the question or the reality that, of course, it becomes technical when some arrests are made, okay? And the technicality comes from the point of choice of seeing, because seeing is a choice. And Jagero, if somebody does not like you, regardless of what you do, it's going to become difficult for them to see what you're doing. You can be the Jagero who is successful as a journalist, holding these very important conversations every evening, but somebody is loyal to the Jagero who used to walk 20 kilometers every day in 2009 when he set foot in Nairobi. So I'm just asking Joachim that maybe let us focus now onto the reality that yes, it is a fact that people have been arrested. Yes, it's a fact a crime has been committed. Yes, it's a fact that there is a court process that will go on. Now let us also separate the issues. Mwalimu Oduor. The issues here are: one, there is the question of the executive political responsibility. Two, the separation of powers in government, because government is not just the executive. Government is a composition of three very independent and interdependent arms. Of course, I know you know better. We have the judiciary, we have the legislature, and we have the executive. Now, as we wait for the judiciary to do its thing, in fact, you can bear me witness that in the question of access to justice in this country, the people who have been the biggest letdown is the criminal justice system, especially the slow grinding wheels of the judiciary, for whatever reason. I don't know if that's the structure or whatever reason it's happening. Now, that said and done, I want us to come back and understand what is the character of the people we are dealing with. And I did a deep dive to understand these people and their history. Because for me, whether the president comes back or not, what I care about is stability of the state. And I've always told Jagero, from the word go, when he started calling me a government apologist, is because I care much about the stability of the state. Because we can fight. You can enjoy fighting because we have a government or we have a state. If we don't have a state, we cannot even sit here to fight. It will be junta that will be in this room declaring and decreeing. Now, I went to see who Joe Sang is, because I want the audience to understand who are these thieves, because that is exactly who they are. One, Joe Sang, the former KPC managing director. Mwalimu Oduor must be in knowledge of the oil jetty in Kisumu. Today, if you go to Kisumu, at the pier, on the other side, next to the golf course, you will see two ships or one ship at any one, the tankers actually, collecting fuel and taking to Uganda. Now, this was a very big scandal back in about between 2015 and 2018, when the jetty was being constructed. And I remember by then I was in Kisumu, and we were saying, if this jetty was constructed for the amount of money that they said it was constructed for, iyo pesa tungeinusa ndani ya Kisumu. That money, nobody smelt it in Kisumu. So it just touched down and went away. Joe Sang, his biggest scandal before today has been the 1.9 billion Kisumu oil jetty. Okay? He, along other KPC officials, were arrested and charged with corruption, abuse of office, and failure to comply with procurement laws regarding the construction of the facility, which anybody who walks into Kisumu will know. If you look at that oil jetty, you know that this is a scandal of magnitude which is impossible. How he became, or how he came back to be appointed into the government is a question for another day. But of course, has the president done something of this evil? Yes, he has. What has he done? My nigga, you're bad, get out. Okay? Two, this very person called Joe Sang, and I've said on this podcast before, and I will repeat now, that Joe Sang, in my belief system, is the architect behind this fuel scandal, and is the architect for this reason. There is already evidence that Joe Sang is a systems person who has been existing way before Ruto became president. He started off as an accountant somewhere within the oil industry or within the petroleum industry. And anybody who has worked within the petroleum industry will tell you that these people who are accountants, within the system are very powerful, and they always metamorphosize Jagero to become businessmen. They own oil marketing companies. And Joe Sang is one of those people who cannot escape. So he's tainted from the word go. And his being in government, whether with the knowledge of the president or without the knowledge of the president, has come to an end. That's a fact we cannot deny. It is upon the courts to decide how they're going to prosecute it. It's upon the ODPP, who I have always said on this podcast and many other podcasts, that he is the weakest link, the ODPP, in terms of prosecution. Because evidence is there, the paper trail is there, but they just refuse to present this evidence to court to secure those very rulings or judgments which need to be secured. So we cannot blame President Ruto, in my view, genuinely, for not securing these convictions, because his role is to take political responsibility, which he has, and said, you know what, not under my watch, get out. 2, this fellow called Daniel Kiptoo Bargoria. This is the man who I sympathize with in the question of this oil scandal, because he's viewed as a very sharp man. And normally sharp people always have the curse of intellect. And the curse of intellect is you can be on a very good trajectory for a long time, but one silly mistake which you didn't see through and didn't think through takes you down. Daniel Kiptoo Bargoria, as I've said before, is the architect behind G2G. Is the gentleman who came up with this whole idea and presented it to President Ruto. And President Ruto thought, what a good idea. Why not? Let's give it a try. And it has assured Kenyans, since President Ruto took power to date, we've never seen those crazy lines of fuel shortages and subsidies, etc., and secured our money that has stabilized our forex reserves, that has stabilized the nation in terms of our dollar rate. We've always said it that, our dollar rate could be artificial. But this G2G plan that was initiated by Daniel Kiptoo Bargoria was one of the best ideas. Now, if you come to the irony of 2026, this is the first known scandal of this guy called Kiptoo Bargoria. As you know, sportsmen are rarely very corrupt. They're rarely corrupt, actually, because the discipline that you need to be a sportsman, it is something that you carry with yourself into office if and when you land as an officer. So this scandal that has hanged over his head becomes a very stark hypocrisy or a stark revelation of either his duality of character or the unawareness that he came with into this one. Then we have Mohamed Liban. Mohamed Liban, as I said before, is a very quiet administrator along the corridors, because I talked to some of these PSS. Along the corridors of power, Mohamed Liban is known as very quiet. In fact, I'm sure you may have not even have known of his name to date until when this scandal happened. Because this is a man who has been known to be doing his work diligently in Athi River, not Athi River, wherever he was. There's a regional body that he was heading. Then later on, he worked in the IEBC. He's a man who understands administration to the core. And being that he's the accounting officer, the only biggest mistake that he did was to authorize this emergency procurement. Okay? Now, of all these three men, the defining question moving forward in Jagero was their role in this scandal a breach of public trust, or was it economic sabotage? And my thinking would be this, that these gentlemen, the three of them, there is a problem that occurred in terms of lack of synergy on what they were trying to do, because this was not sanctioned from the seat above. And let's be factual. There are some deals that when you do in a country, the president must be aware of it. And if he's not aware of it, then, and he has not sanctioned it, then it will become a question. So if you want to point it, for example, Joachim, as I know you would love to point it, that this scandal, quote unquote, was to benefit the president. If such a scandal was to occur with the knowledge of the president, you may never know it. It may pass you. And in many instances, they pass. Okay? And I'm not saying that the president is an angel. He's not. Okay? But the reality is that if he has decided to take responsibility, or if his regime has decided to take responsibility, let's give credit where it belongs. And my view is, there's something good that is happening. The question then remains, is our judiciary doing its work? And I said, I think Martha Koome and the judiciary as is today is too incompetent and impugned to be able to handle such a matter.
Odhiambo, the question that I think that whenever Kenyans are speaking, they're always looking for the goodwill and the honestly
honesty in everything that a government or the president tries to do.
Yeah.
So this is Joe Sang that you've been singing about.
Yes.
Is the Kenya Pipeline Company Managing Director.
Yes.
Who was arrested on Good Friday. Okay? But we look at this guy and we go back to 2018. He's arrested in Kisumu. Correct?
Yes.
The jetty project that you're talking about.
Yes, the oil jetty.
And the corruption scandal is almost 2 billion.
It's 1.9 billion to be factual, yeah.
Almost 2 billion. Almost 2 billion Kenya shillings.
Right.
The guy is dragged in court for almost 3 years. But finally, and we know how our courts operate.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have stolen 1.9 billion, I mean, you can walk out of any court in Kenya. I think that is now public information because they're even going and picking bribes in tea joints. So the question I'm asking is, where is the wisdom in the president of the Republic of Kenya picking somebody who has been in courts for theft of almost 2 billion and been dragged there for 3 years, and then you suddenly pick him again and put him in the position where 2 billion is lost?
Let me answer you quickly.
Jagero, can I say something before you come in?
I know you're coming in. Let me just say this, because Jagero has asked a direct question.
Yeah.
I think, and being objective, I think that it was a gross mistake for this guy to be appointed as an MD of Kenya Pipeline. For this reason, this is a man who has been involved in a scandal. But Jagero, let's look at the reality of how our politics works. Okay. Because if we understand the context, then we'll understand how these things happen. I can assure you from where I sit, in my thinking, there's a lot of interest, capital interest. I've always talked about it when it comes to appointments. Most of these PSS are not really there to earn salaries. Most of them are there to protect some particular interests and policies to be enforced, especially policy change. Now, in this instance, we have Joe Sang, who, in my view, let's look back at who was the Minister of Energy at that time.
Okay.
And who appointed Joe Sang into government. That is the person who must have
appointed him.
I don't know. I have not researched.
When was he appointed? No, it is. Don't run away from such a simple question.
I'm not running away. If I have the facts, I will tell you, Jagero. My research is right here. I have not checked onto that. If I had it, I would have told you. You can check on your side and tell us. Now, what I'm saying is this, that at the point that this fellow was appointed into the regime, especially as a PS, there must be somebody who did his bidding and who say, you know what, I can give you my word that Oduor is a good man. Give Oduor a position as a PS. And of course, the president will say, okay, uko sure huyu jamani mtu mzuri? Makosa kifanyika mimi na yeye done. And of course, somebody gave assurances. But now the rubber has met the road and Joe Sang is out. We can either choose to be retrospective or we can choose to move forward. Now, if we stick in that quagmire of this guy is a bad man, etc., we will be wasting a lot of time lamenting. The thing is, action has been taken. We are waiting for the courts to move the office of the ODPP to grind this man and ensure he's locked. Ruto has done his part of firing the fellow. He's incompetent, he's impugned, he's home.
Joe Sang was appointed in 2016, 3 years after the dynamic duo got into government. And I remember the split of the government then was 50-50.
Yes.
I don't know what it was. So this is a man that is coming directly from Ruto's side.
And before who was the minister at that time?
I don't know who this minister, but before taking over as MD, he had joined KPC earlier that same year as the General Manager of Finance and Strategy.
In 2018, who was Minister for Energy?
It could have been Chirchir or somebody, if I'm not wrong.
Can we have a look? Because
okay, we can check.
I like Odhiambo's explanation. Odhiambo is creating some phantom fictitious character who might have orchestrated the appointment of Joe Sang. And
that was Charles Kater.
Charles Kater. Very nice. Now we know where the embargo is. So this is what happens. And usually I do not really follow what people say. I look at what could be happening. And my father told me something that, look at the revealing statements. Things that people are struggling not to say by saying a lot of other things. In 2018, where was William Ruto at that time? What situation was he in? What did he need the most? What was his ambition? This is a person who was an embattled deputy president fighting the handshake, and he wants to run for office. So what do you need as a person who wants to run for office? You need money. And this is the time when the scandal is actually happening. So the scandal happens, the guy is arrested, and immediately President Ruto is sworn into office. This case dies, and the person is reappointed back as a managing director of Kenya Pipeline Corporation. Very sensitive docket. So, going with your assertion of capital interest, this is not on a referral mode. It's about someone who knows your capability and how helpful you have been to him. And therefore, it's a political reward to someone who came through when I needed some cash. So later on, things happen, and this person still finds himself in the same place he was in 2018. I'm not an expert on how governments work, but I think he's an easy collateral damage. He's an easy person to take off your yoke. After all, you've from 2020 to how many years?
Quite a number of years.
But he has, do you think that Ruto gave him a second chance? Because, I mean, even you, I think that, I don't know whether you've crossed Wanjigi's path, but in a bad way, and he has given you a second chance to still remain the SG.
There is nowhere where Nani crossed William Ruto's path. There is nowhere where Joe Sang crossed. And if you are paying attention to what I'm saying...
No, I'm saying he crossed his path because when he was in Kisumu, yes, he was actually in a government where Ruto was the deputy president.
So
and when
I asked you,
yes,
at that time, what did William Ruto need?
But that is you saying. I don't know what Ruto needed.
I'm just trying to
see the challenge with
thinking.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think.
My apologies. My apologies. Let me just say something. Allow me 1 minute. Just allow me. Thank you. So
allow him to come in because you are making serious allegations.
Yeah, you know.
And he needs to rein in on you.
Yeah, you know, when we look at things, majorly from the way we are and not from the way things are.
Odhiambo, as you answer that question, as you give that opinion,
yeah,
I want to ask you this. Do you think that the government and presidents are telling, Odhiambo is the president of the country, is telling Oduor Wedi, I have put you here so that you can help me govern this government. Please don't mess me. And then, do you think that this is really what is always happening in this government?
I'm coming to that.
Okay.
So, people look at others from the way they are and not from the way that person is. Joachim is thinking, rightly so, and I don't want to dispute his thinking because he is a man of good intellect. When he says that at that time, President Ruto must have needed some money to vie for whatever in the future, he must have placed somebody somewhere. It's a political reality. It's not a joke. That he may have needed money, that is true. But could it be the truth or could it be the fact? Maybe not. Because President Ruto is known as a man who has had means before 2013. This is a man who went into parliament in 1997 or 98, thereabout, when he was just 32 years of age. He's a man who is well known to have been in business. He's not a man who was depending absolutely on salary. I don't want to hold brief for him. But let's look at maybe Joe Sang was serving the interest of somebody else, because one time Raila Odinga was also accused of involving himself in the great scandal of Triton, if you remember. He was accused through his chief of staff then, I think this fellow from Suba, Karolio Mondi, of involving himself in the maize scandal. So we can't entirely frame these guys into this very same fixation. Now, just to answer what Jagero is asking, I want to answer you by telling you what happened in Kisumu, in a very simple way. There was a man called Dr. Hongo in Kisumu County Government. He was the chief of staff. And there was a man called Governor Anguma. These two were related. There was the issue of relocation of Kachok dump site, okay? And there were Germans who were willing to invest in terms of relocating this dump site and creating energy out of it. and connecting it either into a mini grid of Kisumu or connect to the main grid in Mamboleo. Ranguma then was in Estonia. He went for a visit there. Now when he came back, he found that his signature had been falsified into a deal erroneously. Okay?
Ranguma.
Yes. What did he do? I remember very well that very evening when Ranguma invited Dr. Hongo into his office. I was the photographer. And I remember it was heat. And he told Dr. Hongo, you have to resign. Either it is you who goes or I go. Because an impeachment was being brought to the county assembly. So what am I saying in short, Jagero? Is that the president is not only appointing these people because he likes them. He's appointing these people because Oduor, who is the president's friend, says, Mzee, Odhiambo ni rafiki yangu, mimi mwezi niandika kazi, lakini pea nani? Odhiambo ni rafiki yangu ama ni mtu yangu. He also has the merit. Mweke hapo. Afanye hiyo communication kidogo. Unaona? And the president must have sat with these people down in something called an orientation, because PSS, CSS, even parliamentarians go for an orientation where they're told, this is how the government works, this is what you should do, this is what you should not do. Okay. And so yes, he tells them. Now if somebody makes his own decision to say, mimi naenda kuiba on behalf of...
Let me finish before we also give our good friend some airtime. Yes.
Yeah, I am coming to...
Giving you a lot of peace.
Yes. Yes.
So, and I told you, Odhiambo is creating some characters that do not exist.
Okay.
To take the blame, which is a brilliant way of PR strategies to defend.
Remember, he said you don't know anything about PR.
No, I don't have to know anything, but I know something.
Okay.
And that's how that's how remarkable.
Anything and something. That is oxymoron.
Yeah, that's oxymoron. Be quiet.
So, this is what I wanted to say. That what's happening around all this saga is not by mistake. And this is how systems implode. Some of these well-knit systems, people have to disagree from inside for the people outside that system to know what's happening. And Odhiambo said that if the intention was to profit the president, we wouldn't have known. But what if along the chain, before it gets to the president, some people disagree on percentages? It can blow out of proportion, and people will know what's happening. It happens, and even criminal cartels actually get to be caught. But there is a train of thought you have interrupted me from, and I really want to finish before Doyo comes in.
Okay.
So we wait for you to think.
No, it's not. I think very fast.
Yes.
I think very fast. So, the appointment of Joe Sang by the president is not out of the president's character. And I have just said political loyalty and patronage. That you've been good to me, and therefore I have to be good to you too. Today, if at all Joe Sang committed this crime without the knowledge of the president can say, the president...
Makiaki kuna shida.
What happened?
No, just go and fix it. We will wait for him to fix it.
There's nothing.
Pole.
It's okay.
Okay.
What's up? Is it?
Just go and fix it. We will wait. We don't mind seeing you.
It's okay, come on.
Just
fine.
Come and fix it.
Yeah. Don't worry, it's not the government, I promise.
No. These things are working. At least these things are working.
Yeah.
Is it okay? Chungulia.
Iko sawa? Iko sawa, yes. People are saying that. People are making noise if you are... Yeah, they think that it's Oduor who is switching it off.
Gitonga,
yes.
Gitonga Gitari says, I have the documents for that cargo Jagero. Nikutumie wapi?
Cargo gani?
Cargo ya Mombasa hiyo.
Yes.
Bwana tume.
Si ziko. Wanajua namba yangu. Wanataka niseme namba yangu. DCI wachukue.
Tupatie ile email. Watume.
Yeah, watume kwa email.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yes.
So these things, Jagero.
Iko sawa. Wanasema iko sawa.
They keep on happening.
Yeah.
When the chain breaks. When people disagree. When people think you are eating too much. We could have a very good deal in this house. But Jagero anataka kukula 80%.
Yes. Yeah.
Na mimi napewa 5%, natoka nikiwa na hasira.
By the way, kuna mtu alinitumia 10,000 yesterday from the United States. She's called who? Her name is Murugi. Murugi is Kamba, yeah?
Murugi is a Meru.
Murugi, no. She told me that she's Kamba.
Oh, she's married Meru.
That is Murugi, right?
Yes.
Right?
Akasema upejo wake.
Bwana. You know, let me see. Yes, you have received 10,180 from Marilyn Mutunga. Marilyn Mutunga.
Huyo ni Mkamba.
Huyo ni Mkamba, si ndio?
Yes.
And then she gave a message that probably I should read.
Yes.
That says, it is important to read these messages. Mr. Jagero, you do a very, very, very good job. Please keep it up. You, Odhiambo, and Joachim are shaking it up. You will be instrumental in 2027 vote. Keep it up. And for the future, the money has been spent on this in the studio.
So let me donate my time to Oduor.
Yes, please. Oduor has been writing a lot there, and I want him to answer each and every question. But before Oduor says, Odhiambo,
yes,
I think that if we are going to support the government, we have to tell the president the truth, because this is very interesting for me. Okay, Joe Sang is acquitted December 22nd. Okay, 2022.
That's
in December 2022. The anti-corruption court cleared him of all charges, citing lack of evidence. That is 3 months after Ruto gets into government. 3 months. The magistrate even noted that the project was a success, and the officials have been fairly unvilified. Ruto appoints the gentleman 1 month later. That's not good.
The timing is very sinister.
I think let's be honest. Okay, I've learned you a few hours.
You know, you're my dad.
No,
and I love you so much.
Good.
So now let me say this, Jagero. We are all in agreement on this bench that it is near immoral to have Joe Sang serving, especially after such a tainted stint. And what I'm saying is that it is also immoral of us to keep a blind eye and say, it is President Ruto, finally, everything upon him. Well, as that might be true because of political responsibility, we are then ignoring the political fact. And the political fact is that all these PSS you see serving, there are 58 of them. The president does not know all of them in terms of where they came from.
He knows.
He has intelligence briefs on each and every one. But there are also, Jagero, the president is normally the foreman. The people who actually run the state are different people. Political realities has taught us that.
No. It is not your time, Joachim. It is Owidi's time that he has given a bit of it.
I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying not with the Ruto.
And we are not going to allow you to continue with this nonsense of lie until you believe your own lie. We are going to tell the truth, and we are going to be realistic in this country.
Okay.
In this country, we have laws that are functional, that are working, that are largely acceptable. But you are not guilty until you are proven guilty. If the court acquits you, you are not guilty. You are innocent. So the fact that Joe Sang was acquitted, at that point in time, legally, he was not guilty. You remember, by being arrested does not make you guilty. Uhuru Kenyatta was arrested. When he came back, we still elected him the president. So no Kenyan who elected Uhuru Kenyatta has a moral authority to tell us that somebody who has been arrested is guilty. No Kenyan who elected President William Ruto has a moral authority to tell us that a person is guilty just because he was arrested. This is the country where innocent people have been arrested and jailed and served jail terms. So if a competent court acquits Joe Sang, at that point in time, he was not guilty. Even right now, legally, we have not confirmed him guilty, but morally, it is not acceptable for what they did. Because the president is only limited to using administrative actions like the one he did, not prosecuting anybody. That is the work of other agencies. So let us be honest. Let us be pure. There's a man called Rigathi Gachagua. When they were campaigning towards the 2020 general election, he was also arrested. In fact, he keeps on saying that he was arrested in his pajamas. And when President William took over, you know, President William Ruto, Uhuru Kenyatta, and all such people are politicians. They know there are some people who are just persecuted because they support them. There are people who are persecuted because they supported Uhuru. Uhuru dealt with the matter when he became the president. There are people who are persecuted because they supported Ruto. Ruto dealt with the matter when he became president. If finally they are found to be guilty somewhere, then the matter goes to court and it is dealt with at that point in time. So let us not pretend that we don't know what is happening. Let us not pretend that we have clear laws in Kenya that work. So when you come here and tell us, oh, President William Ruto, no, Joe Sang, you had scandals. What scandals? And he was never convicted by any court. Please, give us a break. So, there is also something here that you have been talking about. Let me look for it. That these people supposedly came through for President William Ruto when he needed money most. I think this is not the forum where we come to imagine that probably Joe Sang was raising money for President William Ruto. Here, when you commit a crime, you take responsibility. And I don't think there is anybody who sits in an office, steals there and go giving some other people because probably they help them get those appointments. When you steal, it is for you. You know how to deal with the matter. And I am sure none of them was sent by President William Ruto to go and do what they did. Otherwise, maybe they would have not been fired. So let them take the responsibility of their crimes. But mambo that you have to oppose anything President William Ruto's done. Today you have been clearly exposed that even people President William Ruto has fired from his government for committing crimes, you are supporting and saying they need to be set free and then reappointed. I think that is the height of it. That is hypocrisy.
Jagero, I don't think I have defended.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about Wamunyoro.
Yes, but yes, I know you are talking about Wamunyoro, but it's your problem.
State my difference to the people you are imagining. on this bench.
I hope your mic is working. Every time you start talking.
On this bench, I have not defended any of these characters who have been arrested. Because I'm not doubting that they were complicit to the crime they did.
Even me, I have not defended any.
But there is a similar thing between Oduor and
Odhiambo.
They have erected very powerful walls around the president. That anything can go wrong, but there is only one man who cannot be wrong, the president. And I understand them. And I am looking at the justice.
Why do you understand that?
I understand they have to do that.
So what is this?
What is it that they have to do? Why do they have to defend the president?
You see, if you are being paid not to understand, you lose the job by understanding.
Who is this being paid?
I'm making
I think Joaquim.
Where is this payment?
Jagero.
Fortunately, we are here. We are not going to allow you.
I think Joaquim.
Malign our name. Malign the president's name. We are not going to allow you to smear my name the way you smeared the president's name. Do you know Jagero?
Yes.
Do you know this guy sat here talking about the State House budget? Oh, the budget has come from 9.1 to 17 billion. One day you will get an opportunity to go to that State House. And see the developments that are going on.
No.
And then you will not talk out of ignorance.
If the development in State House is not helping a woman in Chapter 10, it's nonsense.
We are not going to have governments feeding women in Chapter 10 in their homes.
Woman
we
must
have sent
benefit.
for her a road there. That road was conceived in that State House.
Joaquim,
yes.
let me tell you something.
We have given her SHA. That SHA was conceived in State House.
Joaquim,
that State House must be
allow me to inform you. Allow me to inform you.
No, I don't want to.
Allow me to inform you because
his mic has gone off again.
You have maligned.
Or what am I seeing?
You have maligned. You have maligned my character. And
no, we are not
invested.
Going to allow you to.
Yes.
I want them to tell me.
Allow me to.
Have I maligned their character?
You are saying that they are being paid by the president.
Share with you.
I'm not saying anything.
What have you said? You've talked about.
I'm requesting for time to respond. I'm requesting for time.
No. I think
I'm requesting for time.
Odhiambo,
I can attack the reputation of this fellow, and I'm requesting for time to respond to him.
He has made a point that you are not happy with.
I'm requesting, and that's
on
why.
his way on.
Jagero, you will be a good moderator. I'm requesting for time to respond to him.
But
I'm requesting for time.
Why can't you allow him to finish? Just allow him to finish. Let him finish.
You want him to finish a lie?
No. That was a by the way.
No. It's not a by the way.
He was a by the way.
It's not a by the way. Jagero,
He's saying he wants to inform me.
allow me to inform you. I'm requesting you.
I do not want to be informed.
Okay, Jagero, as the moderator. Jagero, as the moderator.
Why can't you allow him to say what he wants to say? Odhiambo, the question is.
This is bullying.
We are going nowhere.
No, Odhiambo, you have said that you take the accusations against you very seriously. So I'm going.
I'm requesting you, Jagero.
No, let him finish.
No.
1 minute. 1 minute. 1 minute.
No.
1 minute.
Jagero, no. I'm not going to.
Okay, repeat.
I'm repeating it so that he understands.
I will not allow him to talk.
Let him explain himself.
We will have a heckling match. You will not talk if I'm not allowed to defend myself.
I have not
Jagero,
you. Why do you defend
I'd rather you end the podcast.
No,
because this won't happen.
We are not going
this
to
is not
with the emotions of
this is not the standard of our discussions.
No.
You cannot water down the intellectual capacity of this podcast. Allow me to tell you. No, there's everything. No. We won't do it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If that is it, I will request you, Jagero, I'm requesting you to rein in and give me. We will work with emotions.
I have worked my statement and say
I will not allow you to speak. We will heckle. Jagero, if I'm not allowed to talk, this broadcast will not continue.
No.
It will stop.
Let this thing move forward. You see,
can you give me a minute?
When there was a shouting match between you and you, I went quiet until Jagero thought I wanted to walk away. So just keep quiet. You listen to it, and I know.
Can you give me a minute?
You will think on your feet. Just let him talk.
I've invested my time so much. 1, to go to school. 2, to work in politics. And 3, to serve in public relations. I have served in this country in reputable offices. And in those offices, Oduor knows where we will serve with him, where in some of them I was never paid a cent. Joachim, give me a minute to respond to you. Jagero, we have been with you. Just take note. Jagero knows very well. I have worked with Jagero to very many offices and to very many people who have witnessed how we are suffering in terms of even raising money to run even this podcast. It is unfair for Joachim to come here and accuse my character to be earning from this regime, whereas he knows so well that there's nothing and there's no order of payment that I have ever received from this regime. I've always said my position in this podcast is not to become a defendant of this regime. I am here to analyze stuff objectively. Joachim, I want to ask you to withdraw that statement because nobody pays me to be on this podcast to come and defend the regime. That is silly and it must be withdrawn. I want you to withdraw and apologize.
This is a power.
I want him to withdraw and apologize.
To make it a debate.
Why is the Joachim's mic not working? It is the government always switching off his mic.
Something is wrong. The people in the village don't want me to be heard.
Joachim, it is not fair.
No.
I've invested in my reputation. You will not do that.
You know this, he said that when you were here, so you got a chance to defend yourself.
Yeah, I will not allow him.
And a rebuttal.
And let's move forward with respect.
Yeah, let's proceed.
Let's not malign each other's character.
But who is messing on his mic every time?
Is it okay?
I don't know whether it's okay.
I think the frequency of his speech is not good for this type of mic.
No. But there are wires there passing through the ambo. I don't know if the ambo is the one who
Is it okay?
Is it okay? Yes.
You see, Jagero.
No. I mean.
Let me try to.
Odhiambo is taking offense that you are claiming that the government, that State House is cutting him a check.
You see, with the intellectual level of Odhiambo, I expect him to understand that small statement.
It's not a small statement. It's not a small statement. When I walk in the streets with Jagero and guys think that I'm being paid money, and I've always told him, that he should stop calling me a government apologist. That is a brand issue, Joachim.
Is still determined not to understand my statement.
What is your statement?
Withdraw.
You asked a question.
I think withdraw and apologize will be the best.
Okay, can I elaborate before I withdraw?
Just withdraw.
I need the people to understand that I did not make any offense.
I want to ask people.
Jagero, you asked me a
I also asked one people of the internet to say, what did they hear?
Yes.
Did they hear Joachim say that Odhiambo is getting a check from State House? People of the internet, what did you hear? Did you hear Joachim saying that Odhiambo is getting a check from State House?
And there is nothing, even if they are getting.
Okay.
It is not wrong.
Nobody's receiving a check from the State House. I have never received a cent from the State House.
I didn't say that.
Mr. Lilikand is saying that Joachim has gone overboard.
Yeah, we have suffered with you. We are with you privately, Joachim.
Odhiambo, you are texting your people to talk.
I'm not texting anybody. I'm just saying, we've been with you, Joachim.
Yes.
When we don't have even a cent, you know it.
Yes.
If I was being paid from the State House, you know how I would behave. You know me when I have money. So that statement is unfortunate and must be withdrawn.
No. Which statement in particular?
Of saying that we are being paid from the State House.
Lukin is saying Joachim didn't say that Odhiambo is getting a check. Joachim should withdraw to endelay.
Yeah, withdraw.
Yeah, some saying he's saying, what are we withdrawing? We are correct. There is an impasse with Odhiambo online.
No. Let's proceed.
Let's proceed, yes.
So in proceeding,
yes, now.
I want to say that in the criminal justice system, there are steps you make to make sure that the actions you do are impactful and they are solving the problem at hand. That before you make arrest, there is usually something called investigation. And this investigation is usually done when the people in question are not in office. So you suspend them. Once the investigations are done, and there is enough evidence, then the arrest is made. When the arrest is made, then it's the work of the prosecution to present evidence in court. Let me tell you what will happen with this arrest. The prosecution will ask for more time to do investigation, which means that the arrest came before investigation. And at the end of the day, the courts will say the exact same thing they said in 2022, that there is not enough evidence, which means there is evidence, but it's not enough to take anyone to jail. Then these guys will walk free, and we will come here to clap for the president that at least he tried. It is the court system that failed the people in getting their justice. So this is why I am skeptical with this whole farce, where we should now ululate on top of our voices and say that, hurrah, the government is now working. As for me as Joachim, I do not think I have any legal obligation or constitutional duty to say good things about the government. My job as a person in opposition is to identify what they are not doing and tell the people, if there is anything good about the government, they have Isaac Mwaura, who is earning salary to say things of the government. They have so many communication and everything. So my duty is not actually to come here and say this is good, this is not. They have so many people walking around media stations to say good things. So I do not want to be one of them. My job is to make sure the government is always on toes to do the right things, because the pressure we exert as the people in opposition guides the government to the right direction. So if the people want for us to have a unanimity in singing for the regime of the day, then I beg not to be part of that. The question we are asking on this is for the goodwill of the country, that let it not be just a theatrical act. Let it be of substance. And I think my brother should thank me that I am one of the people who have made the president now get a Damascus moment, the way of your boy saying. Because we have been singing that things must be done. You remember when he appointed the first cabinet, we went around shouting, what kind of people are you appointing? Because we could see that they have the capability to embarrass the country, and they did. So even in this, I really hope that it will not end up like the one of 2018 to 2022. Because if what you are saying is true, then we have to see it at the end of the day when actually Joe Sang is taken to court and be imprisoned. The money that have been lost in this country are so much. And the reason why I'm still skeptical is because we have so many things we have not handled as a country. And I think we need to look at one thing here. Let me check one scandal that has to be dealt with.
Okay.
And where did it hide to?
As he checks the scandal, there's a point that is raising, which I think we should be alive to. That Joachim is saying, the president has done his bit.
Yes.
Of firing.
As you talk, I want to read a comment from Jirongo saying that Odhiambo don't threaten to end the podcast. We shall replace you the way Gachagua was replaced. But the other one is Odhiambo don't threaten to end the podcast. No, there is another one here. I don't know where it has gone. It was about Odhiambo.
Look for it, Odhiambo continue talking.
Yes.
There's something, and this is Joachim and myself are friends, so people of the internet don't confuse it. Reputation is currency, and I cannot afford to lose it. That is what I've built for a long time. So my difference with Joachim is not about anything else. It's about protecting a reputation. Now, that said, what I was saying, Joachim has said something very important. That yes, the president has fired these individuals who have been suspected of corruption. Okay? He's not denying that fact. The only thing he's differing with the president is that in the Kenyan system, in fact, I don't think he's differing with the president. He's differing with the Kenyan system. That after the president does his bit, or after the police arrest and present these particular suspects to the criminal justice system, that's the court, there is where the problem is. And we all know in this country, if today the president said that let him take charge of the judiciary, some cases will be expedited, some could be slowed down because of political interest. But you're appreciating very well that despite the fact that the president firing these people from his team and perhaps even informing the police, get these guys arrested and take them to court, it is the ODPP and the criminal justice system that then fails. So it is not in the yard of the president to go after the courts and tell Martha Koome, who I have always said is incompetent, and call and say, Martha, I want that case to be expedited. It's an independent institution. So Joachim agrees with what I have been saying, that the president did his bit, which is to take political responsibility and fire these people, and I believe strongly that one day should follow in suit for political responsibility on this issue. I strongly believe so. The rest that is happening, Joachim, is that the courts,
Joachim said that
the courts
cannot touch a law right now.
No. To add some weight on what you're saying.
Why do you keep on adding and me I'm adding nothing? Just say Lu we nyamaza kidogo. Hapo kwa Wandai we are disagreeing. I'm actually the only one here who understand how government works.
Okay. Can you? They are saying that. Please push the mic.
Because
yes, happen is how.
Even in the ministry, we have the person that is there responsible for policies, and we have the accounting officer. When the issue is an issue involving loss of funds, then it is the accounting officers who must account for it. Unless they themselves go and say, I took instructions from the minister. Similarly in boards, the accounting officer, which is the MDs or CEOs, must take responsibility for scandals that involves loss of money. That is why you find when we go to pipeline, it is the CEO. When we go to the other one, it's KEPRA. It is the CEO.
EPRA, yeah.
We are not talking about the board and the chair, because they are people of policy, they are people of making decisions.
Yeah.
So, similarly, when we come to the ministry, the minister is the equivalent of the chair, and the PS is the equivalent of the CEO, and he has to take responsibility because he's the one who acts on such matters. So leave Wandai out of this until those people comes to accuse him that is the one who told us to do this. This is his instruction.
I think Thank for Odhiambo said political responsibility. I have
political responsibility is taken in the political field, not in the legal field. So if Wandai is going to take any political responsibility, let it be in the political
arena. There is something you are giving a very nice story when we were starting of how things went. There is some agreements and contracts that was agreed between government to government and high seas and so forth, so on and so forth. This contracts, how does it touch on the office of Wandai?
Well, I'm not talking about the contracts touching on the office of Wandai, because of course he's the one who is sitting at the policy level.
Okay.
He sits in cabinet. okay, to help drive the policy of the Ministry of Energy. What I'm saying is, this thing is too rotten, and this thing smells so bad. And in my view, respectful differing from Mheshimiwa Oduor, is that one day also should follow suit. For this reason, that this could just be one of those things that have been caught. Okay? And the reason why I'm saying that, one day must have had knowledge of this. And is being
and that is what I'm asking you exactly. And the question I'm asking you is, when the alarm is raised that our reserves are on the red, at that point, is Wandai supposed to be called to action? Does he know that because I think he should know.
He should know. Okay. Because I've said severally, there's a level, and Oduor knows government better than I do. There's a level of procurement that when you are initiating, especially that touches on national security, the minister must know, and the president ought to be informed. And I said, the reason as to why some of these guys are being taken out is because of insubordination, abuse of office, and betrayal of public trust. Okay? Now, these three, I'm looking at Wandai, sitting there, and we want to say he didn't know nothing because his statement came out today, which is very reactive for me.
He gave a statement?
Yes, he gave a statement today.
Saying what?
Let's look for that statement.
I have it.
You have it?
Do you want me to read it for you?
Yes, please read it.
And it's going to corroborate what I said. Read it. I have not seen it myself.
You've not seen it yourself, but it's going to corroborate what you said.
You know, there is something. The minister knows what ought to be done, but he does not know what has been done. So when what has been done is brought to his attention, then he is on the side of the president, firing those who did it.
So there is nowhere, the only thing that can make the minister culpable for anything is political things and policy.
No. When he knows what has been done. There are certain places.
So how do you ascertain that he didn't know?
The minister can even make a decision and they go against it because they are the signatories.
Who briefs the president of what is going on in the ministry?
I will read.
Of course, you can't brief the president.
Should I proceed to read?
Where will you get all the time for those briefs?
Okay.
Yes, can we hear one day?
So this is the minister's statement. I think I got the wrong statement. Just a minute. I think I got the wrong statement. Let me go to his page. That was a statement by somebody else. Let me go to his page. Where is it? Yeah, there we go. Good. 5th April 2026. Statement to the public. We have taken note of recent developments within the petroleum sector, including the resignation by a number of senior officials in the Ministry of Energy and Petroleum and its agencies. The government wishes to assure the public that the situation is under control. When full information about the fuel shipment that is the subject of investigations emerged, we stopped the delivery of a second cargo under similar circumstances, thus protecting and securing public interest. We further wish to reassure the public that there are sufficient stocks of petroleum products to meet current demand. We reiterate the government's commitment to ensuring an uninterrupted supply of quality petroleum products for both Kenya and regional markets. The G2G Fuel Procurement Framework, which has cushioned Kenyans against immediate shocks arising from the situation in the Gulf, remains stable and resilient. The ministry has initiated a comprehensive internal review of petroleum products management systems and processes. This measure is aimed at reinforcing transparency, safeguarding quality, and ensuring the continued integrity of the supply chain. The ministry continues to work closely with relevant agencies to maintain oversight and operational stability within the sector. We wish to appeal to the public to be patient and allow the relevant government agencies to undertake independent and professional investigations into the matters in question. We have noted with concern a campaign of disinformation orchestrated by a section of political leaders over this unfortunate situation. The ministry reaffirms that there will be no tolerance for cartels, profiteers, or extortionists seeking to exploit the uncertainty arising from the conflict in the Middle East for personal gain at the expense of the public. For record, invoices issued by One Petroleum for PMS, Petrol, XMT Paloma, show a price landed in tank Mombasa of 198.55 per metric ton. Invoices issued by Gulf Energy for the G2G PMS X MTFOS Mercury show a price landed in tank Mombasa of Kenya shillings 140,111 per metric ton. The differences of Kenya shillings 58,000 per metric ton between the one petroleum cargo and the G2G cargo works out to 43.4 Kenya shillings per litre, with the G2G cargo being cheaper by that amount. Both cargos are for the month of March. Again, Starbucks International is not among the oil marketing companies nominated by the international oil companies in the G2G arrangement. We shall provide more updates as we progress. Why am I saying that Opiyo Wandayi, this thing sits either high on his street or he needs to go away for the following reason? One, Joachim, Opiyo Wandayi has demonstrated over and over again that he has no knowledge of what is going on in the ministry. Such a deal does not require.
Is he the same gentleman that was cornered by Okwara?
Exactly. And for lack of capacity, intellectual capacity, or even management know-how of the ministry, I point and I put to him that he needs to step aside because he's not in control of the ministry. If this thing is happening, this statement sounds like, oops, that happened. Who did it? What can we do? What can we do? It's a very reactive kind of situation. He could be clean in terms of his involvement, but he's not hands-on in terms of the ministry affairs. Because before this happened, to the extent that the procurement had reached, without him having wind, and without him telling us early enough, is carelessness of the highest order, in my view. And I accuse Opiyo Wandayi not of incompetence, but because of ignorance. Because of his ignorance, Opiyo Wandayi needs to step aside.
But it is not in our nature as politicians to step aside.
No. You need to understand this thing. I'm telling it to you once again. People seated here are confusing these issues.
Okay.
Every ministry has independent state agencies, and then there are those ones that are within the state departments. In Opiyo Wandayi's ministry, the independent state agencies are Kenya Pipeline, EPRA, and such parastatals. They manage their own budget, make their own decisions using their own boards, and do the things that ought to be done. So when an offense is committed by those involved there, they have to take responsibility. The only person who is in touch with them is the PS by way of underwriting what they do, by way of transferring funds to them. The minister does not come in there other than policy issues. And when those policy issues have been put and you go against them, that is now when you get to go to court. So still, I do not agree. And again, I don't like this statement that people keep on making that Opiyo Wandayi was cornered by Okwara. Even when you take a school principal and you go and ask him which subjects does the Form 1 have now, he will definitely not know. And he's not under obligation to know, because if he wants to know, he would pick the phone, call the teacher and ask, what do they have?
So a minister should not know what the kinds of oil we are mining in the country.
What the hell is he going to do there?
So what's the job of the minister? What's his job?
Opiyo Wandayi is not the minister for petroleum. He's not the minister for electricity. He's the minister for energy,
which means all of them.
And that is why we have an MD there.
Yes.
That is why we have technical officers of
so there is no link anywhere.
The moment the minister wants to know anything, he'll pick the phone.
So he chose not to know.
Why do you have to clog your head with even things as mundane as what type of oil?
Oh my goodness.
No, let me tell you, no. Don't lower the minister that low. If the minister wants to know,
the minister is lowering himself.
Comes before his table, he will go to sit at his table.
The minister didn't look like someone who understands what's happening.
Let me tell you.
Yes.
I have watched the way the Kenyan mainstream media interview people.
Yes.
When you go there, like the other day, I was watching something, I think, by Jeff Koinange, and he had brought in 2 professors against one Joshua Nyamori. And Joshua Nyamori is supposed to think, respond to 2 people who think together, including Jeff Koinange, 3 people.
But Joshua Nyamori went. But Joshua Nyamori went.
He did, and responded very well. And I have seen the way they interview people. When they call these people from Sijui, Linda Mwanainchi, Sijui wa Munyoro, they just say what they want.
Which way?
Alafu, endelea, But when they call somebody from the government,
which media are you talking about?
They even want to ask you the age of the president's children.
Wa Munyoro mulikuwa mna celebrate amefinywa kwa kona na Trevor. Ama which media was that?
Let me tell you, my brother.
Wasn't that a Kenyan media?
That is what is it called?
A drop in the ocean.
I think it's a vernacular TV station somewhere. And those people know who their audience was. So they were not going to let Wamunyoro come with a written script to read to the Luo people and then go back. If Wamunyoro wanted to speak to the Luo, he knows where Kisumu is, he knows where Migori is, he knows where Omo Bay is, he knows where Sia is.
So the
to
objective...
come and hide behind concrete walls and then spew things to the Luo land, he was not going to be allowed.
So the objective...
We were going to ask him the very questions Okwara was asking other people. And I think those two gentlemen did a great job.
So, genuinely, Chairman, I agree with you on so many things. But we also reserve the right to our individual opinions.
Absolutely.
Wandai is sort of your age mate. And I would totally understand.
And a friend, I think.
Yeah, you defending him. What I'm saying is that I have a different viewpoint from what you see. And my viewpoint is, you don't need to be ignorant of your ministry affairs. Because the president at one time said, speaking publicly to the PSS and the CSS, said, I know more that is going on in your ministries and your departments than yourselves.
I was there when he said that.
Yeah,
I sat at State House when he was saying that.
Exactly. And you know that the president, being a hands-on man, he would call even the directors just to understand what's going on in the ministry. Because at the end of the day, when the president faces the media, he will be asked, because the media does not understand that the president maybe does not have a direct touch with the directorate of or a parastatal. But the president in his own effort goes out of his way to call to find out what's going on in the ministry. And he said publicly, you guys, some of you are so incompetent that don't know what is going on in your departments. And that forms the basis of my argument, that I expect somebody like Opiyo Wandayi to be very much proactive because his ministry is very sensitive. It is not the ministry of labor. This is the ministry of energy. That it should not be reactive. It should be proactive. And when we've seen it on TV, with Yvonne Okwara, he demonstrated copious amounts of ignorance. And that's what I'm still reinforcing. That since he's demonstrating constantly copious amounts of ignorance on national TV, he should step aside and allow somebody competent like you, Oduor, to take over that position.
You can't measure a minister's leadership content with the technical issues. If I was sitting there where Wandayi was sitting, I would have told Yvonne Okwara, you know who to ask about what type of crude is in Turkana. That is a technical issue. You go to Turkana. If you ask me something at ministerial level, at policy level, I would answer you one touch. But you don't come here asking me what is.
But what was it going to discuss?
You are the people. Like I see the people using Golan. They say, why is Wandayi minister and we don't have power? Wandayi is not the minister for Kenya.
But Wandayi told them he will bring them power.
And by the way, all these ministers, if you brought any of them there, nobody will answer anything in their docket at the level of an agency level down there.
Yes. There are things you know right now that are very away from where you are.
Yes.
And when I ask you about them, you have the ability to answer. What stops the minister?
Let me tell you, if you call the chief justice now or the attorney general now and he ask him in what section of law do we have this, they will not tell you, they will have to refer. If you call a pastor today and ask him in which section of the Bible do we have this, they will not tell you, they will have to refer.
Sections.
Yes. They will have chapters and
I like Oduor.
So do not bring them in as something mundane and then you have to
this
say
thing is mundane.
Yes, it is.
It has kept us here 2 hours.
because you make it look big when it's
no, it is big. How much money are we talking about?
It is you is making it big. The truth of the matter, Wandayi knows. If he wanted to know, he will pick the phone and call the person in Turkana or in the Petroleum department, not even the PS. The PS is too high up.
So the CS knew he has a TV interview. The CS could anticipate the questions. He has a technical team to prepare his presentation.
No.
To tell him, CS, if you are asked about the machines we use in the office, Semani Apple.
Do you know what size of book he will have to carry containing?
Mr. Oduor.
He does not even know what.
Mr.
Oduor. How would I know that somebody is going to ask me the type of crude oil being mined?
That is an easy question. I think Mr. Oduor.
Yes.
Mr. Opiyo Wandayi who's your friend, performed very badly at Citizen.
He performed very badly because he was asked bad questions.
Let me.
You ask a minister. You ask a minister ministerial questions.
Let me ask you.
Ministerial question?
Let me read for you something that was written in the Financial Times.
Yes.
Okay. And these are just the breakdown of the failure of Wandai in that interview. Lack of project specifics. When asked about his specific role in the Nairobi Steering Committee regarding street lighting and electrification, the interviewer pressed him for details on project locations and cost. And he admitted that he didn't have the details.
Why would a minister have the project location and details?
He's the steering committee. He's in the steering committee.
He's in the steering committee for those
He's in the steering committee, Mr. Oduor.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the steering committee began
confusion over ministry budget. When this is policy.
Yes.
Budgetary is policy. Directly to confusion over ministry budgets. When pressed on where the 4 billion shillings for Nairobi street lighting project would come from, he struggled to clarify if the money was coming from the Ministry of Energy or the Ministry of Housing, vaguely stating that they work as one government.
Yes.
Okay?
That is the correct answer.
Vague answer.
He was asked, unable to address electricity costs. Manufacturers requested 2.10 reduction per kilowatt hour electricity. When asked if this was reasonable, okay, or
actually, you know, when ministers used to be asked questions, even in parliament, you are sent those questions in advance. You give the technical staff, they give you the answers, then you proceed to parliament.
So that is
even personally, as chairman of the corporation, I've been able to be taken before parliamentary committee.
Okay.
I have the concerns in advance, so I go there ready with them because I am at decision making level. Luko juu hii mambo ya technical ya nani analima wapi, nani anamepewa contract.
So if you don't know all those things, what decisions are you making? If you don't know all those things,
what are those things?
So you are saying they are technical things.
Yeah.
So what decision are you making up there?
I think one day you will become chairman.
But
then you will see what bond papers look like.
But
all those technical things are also brought. It's like a judge. You have brought all the evidence. You have brought books of law, and then the submissions come. Then you use that to make the decisions.
What does Wandai know if he doesn't know whether the oil in Turkana is light or sweet?
Yes.
What does he know actually?
But he said all he knows is that it's good quality.
Yes, that is good enough.
Yes. So that's all he knows.
It's an acceptable quality.
Yeah.
It is not in doubt that we are talking about the competence of Wandai in terms of speaking. Maybe he has a heavy tongue.
Yes.
Forgivably. What is not forgivable is lack of knowledge of whatever is going on in the ministry. Just a minute.
A minister.
And Wandai has been at one point, been the one pressing these ministers to answer questions.
You know something I love about Wandai, and this is why I expect more from him, is because I know he can do better. And when you go to when you're at the level of a minister, you are one of the surrogates of the president. Which means when the people see you, they see the president, and you can talk on behalf of the president properly. I'm not prosecuting his incompetence. I'm prosecuting his ignorance on particular issues. And I'm saying on this specific
what is the difference between incompetence and ignorance?
Incompetence is a wide spectrum of his demonstrable knowledge, okay, and action. But here I'm only prosecuting his intentional and willful desire not to read, not to understand what's going on. He's a minister, he's here and there. He's up there. He's out of touch. That's what I'm saying. And we are not saying this to spite him. I believe is one of...
Just be very careful because soon you'll be meeting at the airport. You know what happened with you and Paloma.
Well, I don't go to the VIP section much. I am still a common on the other side. So what I'm saying is this.
Okay. But I want to give you a finishing remarks.
Okay.
As we close, because we are now 2.5 hours later in this podcast.
Right. Let me
give you because I think that even as we gather around this fireplace and talk about the politics of our country and the issues that are arising every day, it is important for us to give a way forward on what you would see the government doing more in order to deal with this. Because for me, I just feel like the issue of corruption in this country is a lot, and governments have been trying to deal with it, and they're not finding it easy to deal with it. And I think that if Ruto want to show us goodwill, then we should see not the flaw that we are now seeing where people have been dismissed, but what happens to them.
Okay, so in finishing, I said I look at Wandai and expect more from him because I know he can do better. I'm not talking about what I'm saying to spite him. I'm talking about it to make him understand that he needs to prepare better for interviews. He needs to be more proactive. Of course, he has our best of wishes as a president's surrogate to represent the president properly and represent us properly as a country. If we lose confidence in the way he's representing the issues of the state, then of course we would start requiring him to step aside. That said and done, I would like to say this in conclusion. I think it is not in doubt that when the lady who was at KEMSA misbehaved with the question of the nets, she was out, together with the whole board of KEMSA. Later on, Irungu Nyakera came in. Later on, I think there's another board that is constituted. And this is because of the quick action of the president within hours. When there was the Damascus moment, which of course I have always talked about, which is the Gen Z movement, that then led the president to do a little bit of reflection and changes. He did move his PSS, and 10 of them were axed. 10 of them were axed. And these 10 of them, we just didn't have time to go through them. Excuse me. You'll find that they're not asked just to create space for other people. They're also asked because performance must be reviewed. Okay? When we've had issues with other PSS, like I think the first one, she was called Dr. Who. I think she was in health, also tied to this KEMSA issue quite tightly. She was shown the door within a matter of hours. And also this question of oil and petroleum, whatever. The president has indicated over and over again that, hey, you guys have said I'm a corrupt man, I condone corruption, etc. But his actions are speaking differently. He's pushing incompetent people and people corrupt out. He's putting the ball in the court of the judiciary. It's the judiciary to decide now how they want to handle that matter. Whether they don't take 10 years, these guys are out of office. And that, I think, for me as an individual, is a beautiful thing. I am having some level of confidence that this country today, if you engage in corrupt matters of that nature, the president will not waste time to ask you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Odhiambo. Mr. Joachim?
Thank you for this time. I want to say that this should not be one of the other theater actions that we have witnessed in the country. I believe that we have potential to restore confidence of the people in the governance systems of our country. But I also believe and know that we have systems in place that are, I think, intentionally designed to be extractive in nature and not, what's the opposite of extractive?
Restorative.
Restorative. So, my appeal to the Kenyan people is that do not be taken away by sentiments. Please take your time, pay attention, and make sure that the decision you're making is a good decision for the good of the country. Where I'm sitting and where I come from, we are the people agitating for a different way of governance to our country for better results. And these discussions here on the political headache only help in enlightening the people to make better decisions for themselves. Otherwise, thank you very much. Until another day.
Okay. Mr. Honorable Oduor.
Allow me to address Kenyans in this way. I want to ask Kenyans not to judge leaders by what their opponents say about them. Politics is the only place where you are allowed to lie with your eyes open and your mouth open. I also want Kenyans to be careful of what information they receive from the legacy media, because the legacy media in this country has been captured and they serve their captors and they lie on their behalf. But finally, and most important, as you go to vote, do not ask yourself whom you are going to vote for. Ask yourself, what exactly are you going to vote for as a Kenyan, which will change the lives of Kenyans and which will keep us developing economically. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, people of the internet. Somebody is saying that today has been very nice. Jagero, stop laughing into the mic. You're messing my ears.
Kwani yako na earpods?
I think he has earpods. I think I niliweka bwana, reduce my volume kidogo bwana. Wewe unaweka mingi sana. Okay. Somebody has said me, Jagero, Edwin Odhiambo is saying, Jagero, stop being biased. Okay, I don't know why I was biased, but I think I was giving each and every person.
Don't defend yourself, Soma too.
But that's what I have read. I think I have read everything. Not everything. Jagero, you must not intimidate us next time. All right? Odhiambo can leave and leave with him. Oduor must come every day. Let people not make noise here. There are a lot of comments, more than 1,000 comments today. People have been talking and talking and talking. Thank you very much, people of the internet. It's always a pleasure having you. I really appreciate you gathering with us around this fireplace and talking with us every 7:30 in the evening. Somebody saying, Oduor, one touch. Thank you very much. If you are watching this podcast and you're not subscribed, please do subscribe. If you want to, give us some money to buy a mic that's disturbing us. I told Joachim that he needs to tell Wanjigi to bring me at least a microphone, which has not come. 2 microphones. I mean, Mr. Wanjigi, if you're listening, bring us mics, sure mics. They're only $1,000.
Because we are giving him his son publicity for free.
Yes, it is only Mr. Wanjigi. It is only $1,000. Kwani hii pesa mko nayo mimi nitakula siku gani?
And sooner or later I may take him to my boss, President William Ruto.
What goes around comes around.
Sasa unaona walikuwa wanataka kuniua, kumbe nasema ukweli.
No, sijasema unasema ukweli. Let me tell you.
Walikuwa wanataka kuniua.
Tukui. We are only straightening you so that you don't lie on.
When you are taking Joachim, take Odhiambo too.
Actually, one thing that I must appreciate.
Yes.
There were a lot of abductions before.
Yeah.
And clamped down on criticism. And Joachim has been one very heavy critic on the government. And on this, just allow me to say, Mwalimu, that it's a beautiful thing. Despite the criticism Joachim has put on the government, we've not seen anything silly happen to him, which is a very beautiful thing. And that is the level of democracy that we admire. And of course, we congratulate President Ruto for keeping us alive.
The guy is congratulating. I don't agree with that. The guy is congratulating the president for not abducting anyone. Nobody. In fact, it is the opposition who was abducting people. We caught them in three instances. Actually, not 3, 4.
Yeah. Some of them are really silly.
You remember Koimuri?
Yes.
You remember Kianyagia?
Yes.
You remember Tuju?
Yeah.
And the last one, just before we launched the 10-point agenda, kuna mama alikuja kasema yeye ni 8 months pregnant and the husband has been abducted. Since that thing was launched, she's never talked about that abducted husband. And if you look at the timings, Koimuri and Kianyagia were abducted when we were approaching 25th of June 2026. No, 2025. Because they wanted to raise the temperature. Tuju was abducted when President William Ruto was going to Lowland. They abducted. So we know why these things happen. You remember there was a boy called Denzel Omondi. Why was it trending the whole day, then in the evening he disappears? Because the abductors were preparing him so that the people know him. You know, when somebody gets injured, you really feel a lot of pain. So this is propaganda. It is called...
So Denzel Omondi was abducted by who?
By the opposition, and they killed him.
And the government knows that?
The government is still investigating. Me, I know.
The government is still investigating?
Yes. All those things are still under. Don't think you will get away with them.
No. They can't investigate what they did.
Because you think they did it.
They did.
Open your brain and know to what extent.
No, I have the most open brains.
To what who abducted Kenyan? How come
No, let's talk about Denzel.
Denzel was abducted by the opposition just like Kianyaga, just like Koimburi. In fact, if the opposition found Tuju, they would kill him. Kenya would be burning today.
So the opposition also shot Rex Masai. The opposition shot...
Let me tell you. Rex Masai was shot by a policeman. The police is not entirely the government. Who sends a policeman to the...
So the police is G4S.
Look at this.
No,
that is very cheap argument. The fact that you are an employee of the government does not make you government.
It makes you government.
If you kill your wife at home and you are a police officer, that is not the government.
Peace.
That is you.
Peace, gentlemen.
even the policeman who shot somebody in the street, that is not the government. That is the shooter. The government did not instruct.
I think I now know why President Ruto loves Oduor.
No, I'm just telling you the truth. You know, I'm opening people's mind. Ruto cannot be a policeman. He's a teacher.
So this government is so good. It didn't abduct anyone.
Good. It didn't abduct.
It didn't kill anyone.
It didn't kill anyone.
Oh.
So
Kenyans, you can see.
People of the internet, it was really nice having you. We are going to continue with this fight.
In false flag attacks, people have killed others to blame the government. People have killed others to blame the opposition also. So do not be cheated that anybody was
Joachim,
yes.
The day I become president of this country,
yes,
we will not have such things happening.
Let me tell you something.
Jagero.
There was a day President William Ruto was in Dagoretti. He said, kuna wale watu ambao wanavunja maduka, wanapora mali ya wengine. Watu kama hawa, pigeni risasi miguu wakienda kotini. Do you know what the media reported in the evening? That the president has ordered the protesters to be shot in the leg.
No.
Yes.
You see, Oduor is pretending that he doesn't know what happened. I am one of the people who are protesting.
Yes. So?
And I remember told you one of the story.
Yes.
We were protesting in town.
Please tell me these B terms I've said. Don't tell me what you are
the people who are looting, none of them was shot. None of them.
It does not matter about the president ordered them.
The people who are shot.
You.
The people who are shot were protesters.
So how come that happened?
The people are saying that Joachim is very troublesome. If he doesn't bring his mic next week from Wajiki, they will take you back to Jivanji.
They can't.
You know,
they can't.
Let me tell you, once you have been given an office, you take responsibility and make decisions in it. The office of a policeman, that moment is in the streets with a gun. That is his office and he must take responsibility for his actions where he is.
You can't say that this government is being led by an angel. They have not done anything.
People of the internet, thank you very much. Until another episode, bye for now. HustlesAfrica.com, a guide to high-paying online jobs. At HustlesAfrica.com, you will discover the jobs people are doing from home, the platforms where opportunities are found, the skills that open doors, and the practical steps to begin earning. Go to HustlesAfrica.com today.